At this critical moment in our history, I thank Cardinal Schonborn and Dr. Alting von Gunschel for their kind words of greeting and introduction. I'm also happy that His Holiness Ignatius Ephraim II, Patriarch of the Syro-Orthodox Church, is present with us. From its founding in 2010, the ICLN has accompanied and supported and promoted the work of the Holy See, bearing witness to the gospel in the service of your individual countries and the international community as a whole. I am grateful for your love and for the Church and for your readiness to cooperate in her mission. Our gathering today takes place at a very troubled moment in time. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to rage. Although significant progress has been made through the creation and distribution of effective vaccines, much work remains to be done. There have been more than 2 million confirmed cases and 4 million deaths due to this terrible scourge, which has caused immense economic and social devastation. As a result, your work as lawmakers and political leaders is more important than ever. Charged with serving the common good, you are now being challenged to direct your efforts to the integral renewal of your communities and societies as a whole. This entails more than simply combating the virus or seeking to return to the status quo prior to the pandemic. It demands confronting the deeper causes that the crisis has laid bare and aggravated: poverty, social inequality, widespread unemployment, and the lack of access to education. In an age of upheaval and political polarization, legislators and politicians in general are not always held in a high esteem. Yet, what loftier vocation can there be than that of serving the common good and placing the welfare of the community before our personal advantage? That must always be your goal. For good politics is indispensable for universal fraternity and social peace. In our age, particularly, one of the greatest challenges confronting us is the administration of technology for the common good. The wonders of modern science and technology have increased our quality of life. It is the right to rejoice of these advantages and to be excited by the immense possibilities that they continue to open up before us. For science and technology are wonderful products of God-given human creativity. At the same time, left to themselves and to market forces alone, without suitable guidelines, guided by legislative assemblies and public authorities, guided by a sense of social responsibility, these innovations can end up becoming a threat to dignity of human person. This has nothing to do with curbing technological advances. By means of policies and regulations, policymakers can protect human dignity from whatever may threaten it. I think, for example, of the scourge of child pornography, the misuse of personal data, attacks on critical infrastructure such as hospitals, and the spread of false information on social media. Prudent legislation can guide the development and application of technology in the service of common good. I heartily encourage you, therefore, to make every effort to undertake serious and in-depth moral reflection on the risks and possibilities associated with scientific and technological sciences advances, so that the international laws and regulations governing them may concentrate on promoting integral human development and peace rather than on progress as an end in itself. Legislators and political leaders naturally reflect the strengths and weaknesses of the people they represent. Each has his or her own specific gifts to offer in service to the welfare of all. The involvement of citizens in the various sectors of social, civic, political life remains essential. All of us are called to foster the spirit of solidarity, starting with the needs of our weakest and the most disadvantaged brothers and sisters. If we are to heal our world so harshly tried by the pandemic and build a more inclusive and sustainable future in which technology serves human needs without isolating us from one another, we need not only responsible citizens, but also capable leaders inspired by the principle of common good. Dear friends, may the Lord enable you to become a leaven for renewal of minds, hearts, and spirit, witnesses of political love for the most vulnerable, so that in serving them, you may serve him in all that you do. To you, your families, and your work, I cordially impart my blessing and ask you, please, to pray for me. Thank you. This was the message from His Holiness Pope Francis, and also the President of the International Catholic Legislators also had a message, but I will just summarize in the last chapter, where he says, our work of peace must begin within the private world of each of us. To build for a man without fear, we must be without fear. To build a world of justice, we must be just. And how can we fight liberty if we are not free in our own minds? How can we ask others to sacrifice if we are not ready to do so? Friends, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, thank you so much for giving me time to read this very important message that I thought I needed to share with my colleagues.
Thank you. Can you give us, and it becomes part of our documents? Lay it on table.
With your guidance, thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to lay on table a document. It is entitled Private Audience with His Holiness Pope Francis, 27th August 2021, addressed by Dr. Christian Alting van Geseo, President of the International Catholic Legislators Network. I beg to lay.
Thank you.
Allow me also to lay on table address of His Holiness Pope Francis, meeting of the International Catholic Legislators Network, 27th August 2021. I beg to lay. Madam Speaker, thank you so much. And I also want to inform the House that of the 5 working committees that were permanent working committees, I am a co-chair of the Human Rights and Dignity Working Committee. I represent Africa on the globe. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Honorable Lucy. In the communication I made, the chairperson is Nathan Bianyima, deputized by Honorable Katonto. Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
It is on the communication. It is okay. You'll come after. Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank you for the value and attention you've attached to the merger. I stand here as a Shadow Minister of Public Service, and you put up a high-quality team. But as a scholar, Madam Speaker, I also look at the scholarly burden attached to the research. The research will probably take twofold: those that will focus on quantitative and then qualitative. Parliament, because we don't have so much of the time, we might focus on qualitative. So, Madam Speaker, from your communication, I was asking you to explore the possibility of deploying our scholars that we have in the country so that they use their research and scholarly capabilities that would be reconciled with what we have so that we have feedback both from the House, from the high quality team you put in place, but also it's good to tap into the human resources that we have in this country, especially looking at the professors, both from the humanities and from the sciences. The sciences look at generation of knowledge, and then the humanities looking at application and use as it relates to this particular subject matter, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Atkins, you'll be welcome to go and give your ideas to the committee. Honorable Angora, then the minister.
Thank you very much, Madam. Madam, I had risen, Madam Speaker had risen to respond to your communication. And I am grateful that what I wanted to raise was when you named the members of the ad hoc committee, you had not told us who the chair and the deputy chair would be. So I thank you very much for that quick response to correct that. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Mine was in relation to the message from His Holiness the Pope. Want to really thank Lucy for delivering this important message and the key issues that His Holiness has urged us as legislators to put as part of the agenda for this House. But also to say, Madam Speaker, that when we attend these international networks, there are important issues that we discuss. It will be good, Lucy, to come and present probably a report in addition to the message from the Pope so that we can follow up on the issues that we deliberated on, the resolutions. I know issues of pro-life, issues of what I've had, political love, and all that, so that as a House, we can take seriously these recommendations on the international level. But finally, I want to really thank God. Honorable Sakelo has not been feeling well. I can see now she's very upbeat, so we are very happy that we are back in full gear. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Akelo, the chairperson of the Catholic community here, kindly prepare a report and submit to the House. And while we're in Rome, there was no matter of politics. We're all one. And we went there to pray for our Ugandans, pray for everybody. And we thank God for that. And the Pope emphasized on love, loving each other as you love yourself. Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Procedure here.
Right Honorable Speaker.
There is a procedural matter.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam, I have consistently noted that the chair is uncomfortable with politics. When there was no politics, we all won. The other day you guided that when you are discussing massacre.
It's because the chair is independent.
So I wanted to find out, Madam Speaker, how a politician elected, I will avoid politics so I don't offend the chair.
Honorable Semuju, the chair is independent, so I don't entertain NRM, no DP. I am in this House as an independent person. We should guide the House. I'm the referee. So if you're actually, when we're there with Flavia, where is Flavia? We're there with Flavia, you'd never know whether Lucy is UPC, Flavia is NUP, Honorable Taiwa is NRM. It was oneness. which I allowed for Ugandans, and Ugandans were the majority. Thank you, Honorable Mbwa. You know, one has to realize that Honorable Semuju is in the house.
Thank you.
Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, and I've also realized that he's around. Right Honorable Speaker, the matter of national importance I'm raising is about government initiative to upgrade health center 2s to a level of health center 3s. Right Honorable Speaker, in the last parliament, the government of Uganda got a loan from World Bank.
Honorable Mbwa, bring that up on Prime Minister's time for,
Right,
for you to have exhaustive response to it. It is not very urgent per se.
It's very urgent because the contractors have abandoned the site, Right Honorable Speaker.
You will not get a feedback today. What we want is action-oriented response. We want these people, when you put it down as Prime Minister's time, these people should be able to go on ground and come with the action taken. That's what we have agreed. So can we have your statement written and delivered immediately? Government Chief Whip. Honorable Seungu. And it must be something of life and death. But if it is something that is, it needs a response, then you should be able to put it down in writing. Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm raising on a matter of national importance. Schools in Uganda, basically classes of senior 2, 3, and 4, 1, plus P2 up to P6, leaving out P4 and P5, have taken almost, even nursery classes have taken almost 1-2 years without having classes. What is in the public, Honorable Speaker, is that there is information that is not coordinated between the Minister for Science and Technology, the Minister of Education, about when schools are going to be opened. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy that teachers are being vaccinated at rapid speed, but government has not come out clearly to give this parliament the proper position how schools are going to resume. The last time they opened, right now, Speaker, a school was given 1.3 million. I'm talking about my rural schools where we come from. And buying just one simple foot operation hand wash is worth 300,000, but a primary school requires more than 4 minimum. So the matter of national importance I'm raising is that when is the Minister of Education coming to Parliament, informing government, Parliament, how schools are going to open?
Information.
Some of us let me first drive this point home briefly, and I will give you information. Right now, Speaker, some of us who come from rural areas, schools are dilapidated, desks are broken, and indeed, the situation at school is not good. Teachers, some have lost morale, they need some bit of workshops. We want to know from the Minister. And the last Honorable Speaker, for selection of children going to senior 1 and senior 5, there's no clear picture as we talk now. But what we are hearing, some private schools have already selected the children. Then government schools, King's College, Budo, St. Andrews College, for them, they are waiting. So we want to get proper information from the Minister about what they are preparing so that Parliament must know what is going to take place before children resume.
Information.
Okay, let me take the information.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I am born on the border of Kenya and Uganda in a town called Busia. 80% of Ugandan students every morning when you stand in Sia border, you see them crossing to Kenya. When I asked my colleague from Ruakaka, he told me the same. Yesterday, I was having a chat with Honorable Geoffrey Rutaya on the Tanzania border. He was telling me the same. Right, Honorable Speaker, Kenya has scientists like Uganda. Here, every day, a generation of almost 30% of children from P1 and P2, senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, have sat in their homes. And girls are getting old, are getting married. So I don't know. The fact, my information is that Uganda, we are having a generation that we are leaving behind in education because of mixed understanding in statements between Honorable Musenero, whom I don't know whether she's a minister or she's a presidential advisor in charge of COVID. And also, at the same time, we are having mixed statements from the Minister of Education. That's my information, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, as I conclude, it is very prudent, honorable members. As we talk now, Honorable Speaker, we have a number of girls who are impregnated. Some were in P5, others were in P6. What is the fate of those children as we open schools? So we want a comprehensive
information,
a comprehensive statement before these schools are opened. Otherwise, what is happening, honorable members and Madam Speaker, is that the Ministry of Education is going to push all the burden to district education officers, members of parliament, and we shall see them directing head teachers, and at the end of the day, they will lose their jobs. So that's the matter of national importance, so that parliament is well abreast with what is going to happen if you direct the Committee of Education to interface with these people. Otherwise, they are so quiet, but a lot of information is flowing in the public, in the daily papers, New Vision, Monitor, and none of them is disputing what is coming out.
Government.
Information.
Government.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and my dear colleagues, we very well know that schools were closed as a measure of enabling this country to fight off the COVID-19 that was eating up our people. And of course, the president was communicated after consulting, after a lot of consultations. What's happening right now, we are trying to see to it that almost all our teachers get vaccinated, and very soon the public, including Parliament, will be informed. I'm happy to hear that Honorable Song wants a comprehensive statement about when and how we are going to open. I just want to assure you, Right Honorable Speaker, that after the consultation and the advice of
thank you, Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Minister. It is at pain raising a point of order against the doctor, but it is also very important, Honorable Speaker, for people to hear and comprehend what members say. I have not said that I have a comprehensive report or statement. I said we want the Minister of Education to give this House a comprehensive statement on how schools will be opened. So is the Honorable Minister in order to not pay proper attention in this House? Yet, he's well known of being an educationist who is supposed to teach and train children without making mistakes in any particular lesson he teaches the children. And above all is the Minister of Education. Is he in order not to be very attentive in front of this august House? No speaker.
Honorable Minister, come with a comprehensive statement on the plan for opening schools. Honorable Joyce Bagala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let the minister first come with a report on the strategic, the plan to open the schools, a comprehensive one.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Madam, the procedural issue I am raising is whether the minister should not be given time frame, because he may come here next year. But also, Madam Speaker, the international schools are operating. So when he says schools are closed, maybe closes the ones that are for the ordinary people. Where his grandchildren go international schools, the schools are open.
Minister, you need to give the House a report in 7 days.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Joyce?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For the record, my name is Joyce Bargala. I am the woman member of parliament for Mityana district. I am rising on a matter of national importance, and Madam Speaker, it is a matter of life and death. We have been here discussing about the murders in Masaka district, in Greater Masaka. So today morning, the residents of Chiudaya in Mityana municipality woke up to anonymous letters indicating that what is happening in Masaka is coming to Mityana. And they said they're going to start with the RDC and his entire office. So my prayers are that the Minister of Security, the Ministry, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs swing in action before someone loses life. Because even before, I think about a week back, there's a convent in Busunju, which is Mityana South, that was attacked. And the Reverend Father was injured, and the nun was also injured. We do not know if that is related to these anonymous letters, but it happened. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Oh, information.
Minister, I saw the meetings of Internal Affairs here. Government Chief Whip.
Right Honorable, I request you give us a few minutes. You can be handling another issue. I ensure the minister comes.
Handling another issue within the premises.
Yes.
Anyway,
Just
we
going to
want
short
an
term.
action to be taken. We want a team in that area to ensure that we protect the life of the people. Remember, that is how it started in Masaka. Now it is moving to Mityana. Next, we'll move to another area. So we must take caution on that. Honorable Kirabo, Agnes, Youth.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I'm Chirabo Agnes, the youth representative for Central Region. I rise on a matter of national importance concerning the youth-led NGOs that were suspended on 20th August 2021 by the chairman of the NGO Bureau. For reasons of some not filing returns, others not have registered with the Bureau, and others operating with invalid permits. Right Honorable Speaker, these NGOs, as I've mentioned, are youth-led, and we all know, honorable members, that our country has been hit by the pandemic for the last 2 years, and these NGOs, some were unable to access office, some were shut down completely, so some were unable to file returns for a year, but they've filed their returns they've been on my neck to raise their issue, that they need to be given a chance.
Agnes, can you bring that, write it down and should be brought on Prime Minister's time so that we give the Prime Minister to investigate as to why they were closed, and then they give you a comprehensive response.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, because the youths have to work.
It's okay, you'll have a response next Thursday.
Thank you.
Susan Mugabe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I'm Mugabe Susan Nakaziba, the woman representative for Buvuma District. Madam Speaker, allow me to appreciate the people of Buvuma who gave me this opportunity to represent them in the Parliament of Uganda. Madam Speaker, I'm here this is my maiden speech, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me
This is very
emphasize my point, Madam Speaker, because this is my maiden speech.
Please, please continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as earlier on said about the 3 parallel security agencies, people believe that one of them is stealing their boat engines at gunpoint in the lakes for the last 3 weeks to date, especially in the sub-counties of Lubia, Liabana, Luaje, Bwema, and Bugaya. And this has brought a lot of confusion on which security agency to be followed by the fishermen in Buvuma district. Madam Speaker, allow me also report to you that the illegal fishing suspects got by the UPD Fishing Protection Unit during their operations are being taken to Shitaria prison, neglecting Buvuma police and the public court, making it difficult for their relatives to access them. Madam Speaker, I'd like to inform you that most of these suspects are being brought from their houses very late in the night without any evidence but on assumption. And this has been witnessed in the sub-counties of Nairobi, Buwoya, Busamuzi, and Buvuma Town Council. Madam Speaker, as a result, many people have lost livelihoods, and this has worsened the poverty levels in the district and contributed to heightened domestic violence in the families in my constituency. My prayer, Madam Speaker, let the ministers responsible for defense and fisheries address the enforcement issues in Buvuma district, investigate officers involved in extorting money and stealing the boat engines, the fish and fuel from my fishermen, and streamline the provision of security in the islands and ensure continuity of the livelihood of the fishermen in Buvuma district. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Susan, thank you. Minister of Fisheries and Security, you should go to Buvuma Islands and find out what is happening. Honorable, I've seen you, you're around, but what we don't want is just responding on what, when we don't have all the facts. When we don't have the facts. So we need to have the facts on what is happening in Buvuma. I don't know if you're a part of the meeting of with the Minister of Fisheries. Were you part of the meeting?
Madam Speaker, I did not attend the meeting.
Now that's where the problem is.
I was not invited, Madam Speaker. I don't know why.
We announced in this house you should have a meeting, the minister should have a meeting. And Minister, do you have something to say? But all said and done, we need a solution. Whether she was part of the meeting or not, there must be a solution.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And honorable colleagues, the issue of enforcement is so detailed. First and foremost is that the people resist regulation. And we had a meeting of the sector minister meeting all the MPs from fishing communities. Like you ruled before, we are going to take up her matter and address this issue squarely and come here and report to this house. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Macho. But members, I want to guide you on matters that require policy. Should be brought at Prime Minister's time. And you could look at Rule 45. And it's purely matters that are very, very urgent, that is like between life and death that should be brought as a matter of national importance. Honorable Macho.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I have sought a matter of national importance, standing on a point of procedure that I brought yesterday. Right, Honorable Speaker, almost 80% of the business community who are working in importation of textiles are on strike in Kampala downtown shops. Right, Honorable Speaker, Uganda Revenue Authority is taxing imported textiles in terms of kilos, and this has caused a crisis whereby almost 100 containers are. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Uganda Revenue Authority, through their new taxation policy, instead of taxing percentages in terms of purchase price per textiles, are taxing textile traders a percentage that is very abnormal in terms of kilograms. All right, Honorable Speaker, there have been a negotiation which has been endless for almost 2 months because there is no flexibility and clarity between the Uganda Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Trade with the aim of helping traders to come out of this. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to inform my colleagues and the House at large that a 20-feet container, which was costing 20 to 30 to 40 million in terms of taxes, it is now costing almost 260 to 300. And this has made many importers to abandon their containers at the seaport and the warehouses. I'll give you later. My sister, I'll give you later. I'll give you later. I'll give you later. Since you are there, MP, I'll give you later. Right Honorable Speaker, at the same time, a 40-feet container that was costing almost 40 to 60 million to clear is taking 400 to 600 million shillings of Uganda. It has been 3 weeks since CASITA, the main organization body of the organizing traders. I'll give you. And you know you are a shadow minister, you'll speak after her. Right Honorable Speaker, as I talk now.
Honorable Macho.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Macho, I am still chairing this house.
With apologies, Right Honorable Speaker.
And your time is over. Can you give us your prayers?
With apologies, Right Honorable Speaker.
Your prayers?
Right Honorable Speaker, as I got my apologies, as I got my prayers. Right Honorable Speaker, prayer number 1, government should drop the idea of clearing textile in terms of kilos and adopt a principle of schedule number 4 of East African Customs Management Act, because it is very clear, it allows custom officers to calculate the cost vis-a-vis the tax. Second prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, the traders who have almost 100 containers on seaports and warehouses, and this policy was passed when their goods were on transit, should be allowed to clear using the old tax regime. Prayer number 3, Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda Revenue Authority should adhere to World Trade Organization General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, which is the basis of the invoice. My sister, you'll be ready. Which is the basis of the invoice, and it is the best method of evaluation as stipulated in schedule number 4 of East African Customs Act. Information.
Thank you, honorable colleague, for giving way. I'm Shami Malende, the district woman representative for Kampala. The information I want to give my honorable colleague and this house is that actually the entire business community in Kampala is suffering currently because businesses are under, the CASITA and the business community are under a lockdown. And Honorable Speaker, the problem is that there has not been any practical government interventions on the ongoing evictions by the landlords. And also the hawkers and the street vendors in Kampala operating along Namaiba bus park have been fenced off and they are no longer working. The border riders are also suffering. Their motorcycles are being confiscated.
Order from Professor Mushemesa.
It's procedure.
Procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. This House very well knows that a few days ago, the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry presented a comprehensive report on issues of trade, industry, and tourism, and it's yet to be debated. And during that presentation, Honorable Macho was in this House. Are we procedure moving? Procedure takes precedence. I'm on procedure.
He's on procedure.
And the rules are very clear. Procedure takes precedence over order. Right Honorable Speaker, are we procedure moving well for Honorable Macho to preempt the debate and the issues being raised in the report of that committee which I belong? Are we procedure moving well, Madam Speaker?
When were the shops closed?
Clarification.
When were the shops closed?
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker.
When was the shops closed? Yesterday.
Yesterday, right, Honorable
It's a
Speaker.
matter of national importance.
Yes.
And if they closed yesterday, the report was presented on Thursday, meaning the report did not capture what happened yesterday. A member of parliament can raise what happened our traders are suffering. So what we can now do is to send the Minister of Trade to go and find out what is happening. We have the minister here.
Why the Speaker?
Your order on what? Minister, can you talk?
Order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Speaker. Order, Madam
Thank you.
Speaker. Point of order.
Order on what? Sit.
Madam Speaker.
Can we hear from the
Madam
minister?
Speaker, the point of order I'm raising.
Sit. Sit.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Honorable Macho for raising this important point. We have held discussions with Casita.
Members, are you listening? And don't send me cheats.
Okay. We have held discussions with the Casita representing traders on these important matters as government. And as of yesterday, we have come to an understanding that actually we should charge the 35% as opposed to what has been happening. And we think that the matter is being resolved unless there are some issues which have come up. We would request, Madam Speaker, that on Tuesday, we can come here and make a statement on this matter, but we are handling this
Clarification.
Matter
Madam.
But you see, that's the indiscipline I don't like, Honorable Seungu. The minister is saying he's coming with a report on the action taken. You want a clarification, This is a very serious issue. Can you sit? Seungu, I will apply Rule 79 on you.
So in brief, Madam Speaker, we have listened to the cry of the traders and we are handling this matter. And on Tuesday, we shall come here to report to the House the resolutions that we have come up with together with the traders. I thank you.
And when you're meeting the traders, Honorable Minister, I want all the MPs of Kampala to be available, to be around in that meeting. Because there will be the same people coming here to make statements. So they should be part of the meeting for them to know what is taking place. Honorable Seungu, there is a chair in this house. Honorable Kawalia, Honorable Kawalia, I am Honorable Kawalia, you're on the same issue. It has been responded. I am communicating to you, Honorable Kawalia. It has been responded to. Can you make a follow-up with the minister that the meeting takes place and report back to this house on Tuesday? And the report we want is the action that has been taken, not lamentations. Honorable Beja?
Right, Honorable Speaker, for the concern of record, I'm called Abeja Susan Jolly, Woman MP Otuke District. This is my maiden speech. Yes. I'm raising a matter of national importance, but before I do that, allow me also to congratulate you in that office of yours We oversang Anita very good. You are really very good. My issue is the looming status of schools in Uganda. As my brother was crying for the day of getting back to school, it is opposite in my constituency. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, Otuke has got the worst status of schools. When you go to parishes, there are other parishes without primary schools. You wonder, there is a parish called Atira. Pupils are studying in a kraal, not even a school. I remember one day I shared the photos with you, and I'm glad today my minister is around. There are sub-counties without secondary schools amid this creation of more sub-counties and more parishes in Uganda. I don't support that. Honorable Speaker, in our schools in Otuke, you find that teachers are lacking accommodations. A school like Amwa Primary School, there are 14 teachers, but only 3 teachers are sleeping in school. Other teachers normally move far distance to their schools. They don't have accommodation. Other schools, they're sharing toilets. Toilets are not even enough in these schools. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm also here to let you inform that we have structures in Otuke that has been blown off by wind. And we are here, at times we are sent requests to go and roof this school. And when we are here, we are told not to spend our money to do government programs. But at times we are requested to roof these schools. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I'm also glad to let you inform that there was a project that was taken to Otuke district called Netherlands Project. Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me to request from the minister that my people are inquiring whether this project, the money was given to the ministry or it was allocated to the district local government, because there are structures which are not completed in these schools. Others are, the walls are there, but roofs are not there. Floors are being made, but there are no walls. So the status is not good. Right, Honorable Speaker, in Otuke, our teachers are crying. I have a letter that has been sent to you there, written by our cow. Districts bordering Otuke like Alepton, Agago, Karamoja, that has faced challenges of insurgencies, they have been accorded as hard to reach district. But Otuke has been ignored, right, Honorable Speaker.
What's your prayer, Susan?
My prayers.
What's your prayer, Susan?
My prayer.
Doctor.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Are you from Otuke?
Yes, please. My name is Paul Omara, a member of Parliament for Otuke County. On a point of information to my colleague and to this House, Honorable Speaker, is that we have a USAID report under the theme Center for International Futures, November 2017. This report gives a lot of data about GDP and GDP per capita estimates for 116 districts of Uganda. Now, in that report, the Right Honorable Speaker, the worst or poor districts of Uganda is mentioned. From number 1 is Kagadi, with a GDP per capita of 56, followed by Alepton with a GDP per capita of 64, and the third poorest is Otuke district with $66 per capita. Now, from the report we have is that Otuke has been left out as hard to reach districts.
Paul, tell us what you want us to do for
and
the
what
schools.
we want, our prayers, Right Honorable Speaker, is that Otuke district should be, yes,
Yes,
Don't worry, it is the prayers of Otuke.
yes, it should be
Give us your
included.
prayers as Otuke.
It should be included as part of hard-to-reach districts of Uganda. I thank you.
Susan, do you still have another prayer?
Right, Honorable Speaker, my last prayer is our civil servants are threatening to strike. That if the minister in charge does not visit them, they will lay down their tools.
Minister of Education. Minister of
No,
Education.
they have to respond. To accord the district as a hard-to-reach district. The minister must go to Otuke, and I'm going with him.
Minister of Education,
Madam Speaker, information to the minister.
Minister of Education, you must go to Otuke together with the members of Parliament of that area.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And my dear colleagues, I'll definitely do everything possible to go to Otuke
Thank you.
before this month comes.
And
to
you
an end.
report back to this house in 2 weeks on your findings. And you don't need only to go to Otuke, you can also check all the schools in northern Uganda.
Information, Madam Speaker.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
But I hope with Honorable Susan is aware that schools are closed, but I'll take all the trouble.
But you see now, you're moving from school to verify. So that would be the process you would do as we wait for the schools to open. You'd verify the status of the school.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'll definitely go and visit.
Thank you,
okay?
thank you.
And report back to this house.
Next item.
Right, and Right Honorable Speaker, one other thing I wanted to add is that it's true. There are some areas that do
There
not.
is an order here, or somebody is ordering an elder.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when I was joining Parliament, I was given a book called The Rules of Procedure of Parliament, and I made sure I read it to make sure I do not offend any of the rules therein. Madam Speaker, I paid particular attention to Rule 82, which talks about dress code. So I went and I revamped my wardrobe, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, there are colleagues who are yet to read that rule. There is a colleague on the other end who decided that he would just put on a shirt and a jacket in total contravention of Rule 82, Madam Speaker. Is the honorable member in order, Madam Speaker?
Honorable member, the dress code of this house is well defined under Rule 82. Honorable member, are you a member of this house? Are you a member of the house? Can we have you out of the house? Get out.
Madam Speaker, even the colleague had put off his shoes.
Members, next item.
Item 3 on the order paper, statement on government business for the succeeding week, 7th to 9th September 2021.
Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, under Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure, requires the Leader of Government Business to make a statement in the House regarding the government business of the succeeding week. I'm therefore submitting the following business for the succeeding week, 7th to 9th September 2021. Number one, Charter for Fiscal Policy, Charter for Fiscal Responsibility 2021, 2022, 2025 to 2026. Statement on government plan to operationalize new cities. Proposal to borrow USD 119.1 for development of oil roads, million. Number four, proposal to borrow USD millions 130 for East African crude oil pipeline, ECO. On behalf of the Prime Minister, I beg to submit.
Item 4.
Thank you so much, Government Chief Whip. Honorable members, we've been given the business to follow in the preceding week. Please take note, and I urge you to prepare accordingly for what is going to come next week. Thank you. Yes, Ibrahim.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Rule 28 that the government whip is using says the leader of government business shall. It does not allow any other person other than the Prime Minister. Because if you go to the Prime Minister's time, Rule 41, the rule allows the deputy if the Prime Minister is not there. And there is a reason we have these rules. The Honorable Government Whip may enjoy standing many times in Parliament, even to do what he's not enjoying to do. But this particular rule does not allow you. Rule 41 allows the deputy, if the Prime Minister is not there, to lead in the Prime Minister's time. This one does not allow any intruder. I don't know, maybe you have different rules. So your appetite to stand many times offends this rule. Therefore, the procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether any other person other than the Prime Minister can purport to be the Prime Minister and give when the rule says shall and does not create exception, like a rule, the rule on Prime Minister's time does.
Members, the statement that has been sent, that was sent to my office, was signed by the Prime Minister, Robin Navanja, and leader of government business. And she requested the government chief whip to read on her behalf. Since it is signed by her, maybe what we can do is to tell her next time you should read it yourself.
Madam Speaker.
But it has been presented. Next item.
Item 4, laying of papers in accordance with Rule 31 of the Rules of Procedure. Item 4.1.
Right Honorable Speaker, as a parliamentary commissioner, I wish to lay the different reports of entities from the Auditor General. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to read reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2018. First, on the Chenjojo Town Council.
Can you read the names, then you lay them at once?
I will lay at once. First, I will lay the Chenjojo Town Council report from the Auditor General. B, I beg to lay the Chamaseke Town Council report. Achibale Sub-County Kabarore District. Behanga Sub-County Kamwenge District. Shilumya Sub-County Bundibujo District. Katewa Sub-County Bunyangabu District. Chisomoro Sub-County Bunyangabu District. Bubukwanga Sub-County Bundibujo District. Buhe Sub-County Bunyangabu District. South Division Fort Potro Municipal Council. Busaru Sub-County Bundibujo District. Bukonzo Sub-County Bundibujo District. Chamukube Town Council. Mpondwe Rubiriha Town Council. Right Honorable Speaker, still I beg to lay reports of the Auditor General.
Members, the reports of the Auditor General on the sub-counties on the financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2018 are referred to Public Accounts Committee, Local Government. Next.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to lay the reports from the Auditor General on the financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2019 on the 132 kV Mirama Kabare transmission line and distribution project, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the Opio Moroto 132 kV transmission line project, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited.
The reports being laid are reports of Auditor General on financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2019, and these are referred to commissions, statutory authorities, and state enterprises. That's COSASE. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is a motion that was passed by this very House, not with specificity to this one, but by the 10th Parliament in May, as the 10th Parliament was coming to a close. That motion was moved by the Honorable Nathan Nandala Mafabi, and the motion was to the effect that Parliament adopted all the Auditor General's reports up until 30th June 2020. And Madam Speaker, as you know, my committee, COSASE, which I chair, we've had challenges and we've approached your office in regards to that motion to see how we get to deal with it, because we have wanted to look at those past years which were closed by that particular motion. Because what that motion meant is that COSASE, for example, has got to wait for the next Auditor General's report, which comes in December. And for that matter, we begin doing work next year. which is in itself problematic. But in specificity to this matter, Madam Speaker, again, the Auditor General's reports fall within the ambit of 30th June. And that would mean that the other motion covers them. So, Madam Speaker, I request for you to guide us.
Why don't we first receive the reports? What I know you want is to bring your motion on the floor. You don't raise it here. You know how a motion is put on the order paper. So you don't raise it here. First receive the reports. Then you challenge what was being done in the 10th Parliament. So for now, let the committees first receive the reports. The rest will handle.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2020 on the Uganda Export Promotions Board, on the Uganda Communications Employees Contributory Pension Scheme, on the Embassy of the Republic of Uganda, Copenhagen, Denmark, on the Uganda National Oil Company, on the Opio Moroto 132 kV transmission line project, that is Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, on the 132 kV Mirama Kabale transmission line and distribution project, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, on the Presidential Initiative Banana Industrial Development, and also on the Uganda Seeds Limited. I beg to lay.
The report of the Auditor General's report, findings on financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2020 are referred to commissions, statutory authorities, and state enterprises, that's COSASE, while the report on the Embassy of the Republic of Uganda in Denmark is referred to Public Accounts Committee Central.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to lay the reports from the Auditor General on the financial statements on Uganda Petroleum Fund for the 6-month period ended 31st December 2020. On the Environment for Development Initiative Project Makerere University for the period of 1st January to 31st December 2020. On the Handcraft and Souvenir Development Project in Uganda for the 6-month period from this June 2019 to December 2019. On the Handcraft and Souvenir Development Project in Uganda for the year ended 31st December 2020. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker.
Reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements are referred to Public Accounts Committee, Central Government.
Item 5, motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius Bua for his induction into the World Olympians Association as an Olympian for life.
Honorable Achon Dorcas of Alebton. Members, we debated almost the same kind of motion last week. So we are giving this motion only 20 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise under Rule 56 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius Bua for his induction into the World Olympians Association as an Olympian for life. Whereas Honorable Achon Julius Bua, a member of Parliament for Tuke East County, is also a world-renowned middle distance runner with the following remarkable achievements. He won a gold medal in 1994 at the World Junior Athletics Championship in Lisbon, Portugal. In 1995, he won a bronze medal in 1,500 meters in Harare, Zimbabwe, at the All African Games. In 1996, he participated in the 1,500 meters race, finishing with a timing of 3 minutes, 43 seconds, and 8 microseconds at Olympic Games hosted by the USA in Atlanta City. In 1999, he set a national record in the 1,600 meters, a mile, with a timing of 3 minutes, 55 seconds, and 38 microseconds at the TFA Pro Championships in New York, United States, a record that stood for 22 years before it was broken. At the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, in 1,500 meters, he qualified for the semifinals and came sixth with a timing of 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and 32 microseconds. Recognizing that due to the above unprecedented record, Honorable Achon Julius Bua was on 26th of July 2021 among the 5 people who were inducted into the World Olympians Association as Olympians for Life at Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Cognizant that only 5 Olympians are inducted into the Olympians for Life every 4 years, 1 from each continent, and as such, Honorable Achon Julius Bua was the sole inductee who represented the whole of Africa. Noting that the Olympians for Life Award aims to celebrate the lives of Olympians who have left a positive and lasting legacy on the world, even after retiring from active sports, and further demonstrate that Olympic spirit lives on well beyond the Olympians competition days. And aware that Honorable Achon Julius Bua has reflected true Olympic spirit by founding Achon Uganda Children's Fund, constituting a health center grade 3 in Otuke district. He has been able to repair 100 boreholes, drilled 46 new boreholes, installed 2 solar-powered water pumps, and introduced the seed scheme to all the households in Otuke district. Acknowledging that it is imperative that his efforts are recognized, and this will help to encourage our young generation to embrace sports as a profession. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Parliament of Uganda congratulates Honorable Achon Julius Bua upon being inducted in the World Olympian Association as an Olympian for life. Also urges government to recognize Honorable Achon Julius Bua's tireless efforts in promoting Uganda by naming at least one of the stadiums or streets in Uganda, Achon Julius Bua. And also urges government to continuously sponsor athletes who embody true Olympian spirit to the Olympic Games. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chen. Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Kisa Stephen, Tom, Wangolo. The whole house is seconding it, including the youth. Even the government chief, if the whole house has seconded it, yes, including Kawalia. Yes, speak to your motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and Right Honorable colleagues. Right Honorable Julius Achon Bua is a true example of a resilient Olympian. Today, we can be able to recognize his hard work, his perseverance, and resilience that he has been able to demonstrate in order to be able to achieve the thrilling victories that we've seen in the past years. And the lesson that we pick from this as a country is that so many of our athletes go through a lot of hurdles. They go through a lot of tough times before they get to the point when they become champions. A lot is happening behind the scenes. In the case of Honorable Julius Achon, I want to pick just a few examples. He was able to represent the country even during the time when northern Uganda was in war, and he remained resilient and never gave up. Honorable Julius Achon at a time ran for 72 kilometers from Otuke up to Lira on barefoot without shoes. That commitment, that level of resilience, and he was going for a competition. He was not doing it because he was enjoying it as a form of exercise, but he had to join the competition. He lacked transport. The following day, he had competition. And he was able to win 3 races in one day, 800 meters, 1,500 meters, and 3,000 meters in one day, even with the fatigue. This is the man who was able to join his colleagues in 1994 when he was representing Uganda in World Junior Athletics Championship in Lisbon. He boarded the plane on barefoot, without shoes again, representing the country Uganda. That level of resilience. He was only able to borrow a pair of shoes from a Kenyan colleague to be able to use for the competition. That level of resilience is what we are talking about. He didn't have it easy for him, even along the line of education. And these are things that our young people are going through. He was given 1 year scholarship only in Lango College and was chased away from school just after 1 year on account of failure to pay school fees. Thanks to Makerere College, who was able to support him at the time until up to the time when he was able to get athletic scholarship, and he managed to graduate in 2011 in the University of Phoenix, Arizona, in Bachelor of Science in Communication, after going through so much hurdles. This is the man we are talking about. Honorable colleagues, amidst all these challenges, our government has never been able to recognize or even reward Honorable Julius Achon up to this date. We can say they are yet to recognize him. This is the man who has not given up the true Olympian spirit. He has been able, from support that he got from elsewhere, for example, the American people, he was able to construct a whole unit, Health Center Level 3, which is supporting women and children. This is the man. In 2019, he became the first athlete who ran 500 kilometers from Entebbe up to Lira via the East Coast. And that action alone enabled him to raise 700 million, which he used to drill 47 boreholes in Otuke. Honorable colleagues, the lesson we pick from this is that our young generation are going through so much. And for this reason, I implore our young generation throughout Uganda to be able to take a lesson from Honorable Julius Achon. And colleagues, today, Honorable Julius Achon has become someone in the entire global sports fraternity, which is the reason he was inducted into the Olympians for Life as the sole inductee who represented the whole of Africa. Allow me salute World Olympians Association for recognizing our son of the soil as an Olympian for life at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. I believe that this recognition will go a long way in inspiring the young generation. And Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, this does not come easily. This comes as a result of resilience and preparation. If I may borrow words from Max Pitts, a 9 times Olympic champion, who was a great swimmer. He indicated that nothing got him to where he was apart from preparing. And as a country, I want to reiterate to say that if we fail to plan, if we fail to prepare, we are surely preparing to fail. As a country, if we are to maintain this legacy and sustain some of these gains that Honorable Julius Achon Bua and also other children of ours have been able to put forward, if we can sustain through dedicating adequate funding to support the sports sector, I think that will help us to nurture the great potentials that we have in this country. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable colleagues. I ask you to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Achon Dorcas. Seconder. Seconder. Seconder, you have only 3 minutes. You know, today is a Thursday, Prime Minister's time.
Thank you.
And she must start at 4.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand to second this motion. Honorable Julius Achon, in 2013, invited His Excellency the President to commission Christina Health Center 3. His Excellency the President delegated me to represent him and commission this health facility. Madam Speaker, I had been reading about Achon. That was my first day to meet him. And extremely unfortunate, he narrated the story, how he was able to run on bare feet, 42 kilometers from Awake, present-day Otuke district to Lira district, and the rest is history. He ran on his bare feet and was able to win and represent his district at the national competitions. Madam Speaker, in 2014, Honorable Achon had constructed another block, staff house, where he again invited the President, and the President delegated me to represent him. But at the very first time when I went there, Achon said one thing. He told me all that I need. Let me also have this handshake from the President. Can I be recognized having won all these medals? And I said, fine, I will take the message to the President. His Excellency, the President was able to meet Honorable Julius Achon with his wife. And what he requested for, Madam Speaker, was to be employed, but also sponsor him for his master's degree. When I went to commission the new staff houses, Madam Speaker, the job was not yet there. And I want to thank Honorable Achon for listening to me, because I saw a lot of support from the community. People loved him for having turned around their lives. This health facility has saved many mothers from dying. Many of the women could not move from Awake or Otuke to Lira district to just receive antenatal care services. He has turned around that community, reduced on the maternal mortality. And I told him, Honorable Achon, the job you are looking for, why don't you contest and become a member of Parliament? Today, Honorable Achon is here as a member of Parliament, having listened to me, and he won with a very big margin. Madam Speaker, I want to request the Olympians for life are people who dedicate or devote their time in promoting peace and supporting other initiatives that improve on the lives of the people. The other Olympians are supported by their governments. I want to request, the Honorable Minister of Education was here, or the Prime Minister is here. I want to request, Madam Speaker, this young man that has made us proud, I want to request government, he still needs to construct a theater in Awake at Christina Health Center 3. I want to request government to support him and turn this facility into a health center 4 by constructing this theater that is lacking. He has bought an ambulance, and those cases that cannot be managed at his health facility are quickly taken to Lira Regional Referral Hospital. Madam Speaker, this young man, Achon, was abducted by the Lord's Resistance Army. His mother killed by the same LRA. He constructed this health facility in memory of his sister, who lost her life while giving birth because she could not access healthcare services. We need to appreciate him for his big heart, Madam Speaker, and it's my humble appeal, Right Honorable Prime Minister, that government, in support of Achon as an Olympian, does give him the necessary support so that we turn Awake or Christina Health Center 3 into a health center 4. I beg, submit.
Thank you, members. Honorable members, I personally want to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius for having been inducted as an Olympian for life. Congratulations, and we wish you well. And kindly,
Chairman.
some members don't
The
know
chairman,
who
yes.
Achon is. Some members don't know who Achon. Are you Achon? Some members don't know who Achon is. Achon, just stand up, and members get to know you. Congratulations once more. As you remove the mask, some lady here wants to admire you. First, remove the mask, and that is Honorable Achon. And
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Tom.
And my dear colleagues.
Tom.
Chairman of Athletics.
Tom, I told you to have respect. Okay, speak for 2 minutes. Tom, speak for 2 minutes. Imbwa, there is a chairman of football here.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable
chairman.
Speaker and my dear colleagues. I hereby support the motion to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius Bua for his induction into the World Olympian Association as Olympian for Life. I am called Alero Tom Aza, Member of Parliament for Westmoreland County, Chairman Athletics Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, an executive member of the Parliamentary Football Club. Honorable Achon Julius joined the Parliamentary Club in 2016 as the captain of the Athletics Club. Other members who participated in the club from 2011 to 2016 were, among others, Nuru Biamukama, Odongo Oto, Honorable Bagole, Honorable Zake, our commissioner, Honorable Pentagon, Honorable Mboa Tekama, who is also present here, and others. From 2014, Madam Speaker, to 2019, we had always collected bronze, silver, gold medals from the first, second, and third positions in 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, 1,500 meters in the East African Community Interparliamentary Games for fast-tracking the integration of the East African Community member states. I would also like to congratulate all the Ugandan athletes who had previously participated and who got gold, silver, bronze medals. People like Dokas Njikuru, Joshua Cheptegei, Moses Kipsiro, Davis Kamoga, and so on. And Madam Speaker, I remember these people were promised on monthly allowance. I will also be grateful to government if our only Honorable Achon could also be put on that stipend.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand also to support the motion by congratulating Honorable Achon Julius for becoming a lifetime Olympian. Congratulations, my brother. Right Honorable Speaker, the Achon we are talking about, he's the only honorable who has been making us to win interparliamentary games. You know, Kenya is good at running. They are very good at athletics, but Honorable Achon has tried to keep the candle of this parliament burning. Right Honorable Speaker, the move of the motion has talked about the resilience of Honorable Achon Julius. This is reflected one time as he was jogging in the morning around Namgongo. He encountered a dog, a stray dog, and it managed to bite him. And Honorable Achon, with his resilience, he chased the dog, grabbed the dog, killed the dog, and took it to police. This is the gentleman we are speaking about. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I know by grabbing a dog, he must have grabbed my brother, Sisa Mumbwa. But I'm telling you, the guy can run faster than the dog. That is Honorable Achon Julius. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I also pray that government should recognize Honorable Achon, and we need, if anything, even Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker, we can even put a monument here in recognizing the works of
Nsanja.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable members, first of all, I am a former member, a team captain of the Uganda Parliament Football Club. So I speak from that background. Madam Speaker, in sports and games world over, there are two major factors that affect performance of a team or an individual. That is resources and discipline. I stand to testify that Honorable Achon Julius, it is evident that he is disciplined. We are proud of you, and we are proud of you, and indeed, you have made a tremendous contribution. Madam Speaker, I would want to implore our government to invest in sports, because indeed sports has ceased from being a mere leisure or recreation activity to a recreative commercial activity. For instance, in football, an international game is played and football funds are able to fund other sports. You will find an international game being watched by over 3 billion people, and Uganda is able, from taxes, to pay 600 million shillings to watch a Premier League game. Madam Speaker, it is important for government to revise the current law to suit the commercial activity such that private investors and creators are protected. Madam Speaker, world over, we have been emphasizing the issue of discipline.
We actually asked the minister to bring for us the plan. We hope he will bring in time, Honorable.
Thank you very much. My brother, Achon Julius Bua, congratulations. I would like to add my voice to the youth of Uganda that we can make.
Is that Okumu?
Okumu Gabriel.
Okay. Mention your name so that the answer.
Okumu Gabriel, Member of Parliament for Okoro County in Zombo. I would like to add my voice to congratulate you and also to call upon you when we invite you to go around the country to inspire our youth. I would like to be on record that I'm extending an invitation to you to meet the so many talented youth in Zombo to inspire them. And I would like to also to speak to our youth of Uganda that from nothing we can make something. Madam Speaker, allow me extend my voice to government that we cannot do business as we did it yesterday. I would like to call upon the 11th Parliament that in this coming budget, we should fund the sports of Uganda once and for all. After all, we have a very high level of unemployment in Uganda. I would like to call the House, when the budget comes, let us support our youth. I beg to submit. Thank you very much.
Then Semujo, after you. Chairperson.
Thank you, Right Honorable. For the record, I'm Servola Stefan, Member of Parliament, Lugazi Municipality of Uganda District. From the profile of our colleague, you can just realize that he was like self-made Olympian, meaning that he struggled on his own, meaning that there are very many Ugandans who would like to be like him with the talent who have not yet been helped. So thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from Lugazi Municipality, where we have a lady by the name of Nakai Halima. Nakai Halima won gold in 2019. And when she was asked what she wanted by the president, her humble request was constructing a house for her parents. Right Honorable Speaker, Nakai's parents reside in one of the villages called Isese in Insacha Ward, Najembe Division, Lugazi Municipality, Buyukwe District. To date, as her parents are aging, they have never realized the pride of their daughter getting gold or being appreciated. Wherever these Olympians bring us gold, we are always very excited, but the excitement at times goes without being so much appreciated. Right Honorable Speaker, my humble prayer is the president and the government, they fulfill their promise, constructing a house and the other promises to the parents of Nakai Halima, who is in my constituency. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Honorable Joe, we have only 5 minutes to
Madam
talk about
Speaker,
this.
thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I am part of the parliamentary football team for now more than 7 years. We have traveled with Honorable Achon to participate in parliamentary games. Not only do I want to testify to his competence, but also to his conduct, very modest person. Honorable Chom, I congratulate you. Madam Speaker, sports in Uganda is one of the few sectors where I will not find children of leaders or their wives, because automatically, if in football you'll be substituted. It is the only sector where people grow because of merit. You can't fix your wife there or your son or in-laws. And that's why you will be here celebrating those who make it on merit. Maybe it is also the reason why it doesn't attract funding, because those at the top don't have their children and wives there. Because I imagine if Honorable Achom had been as connected as others we see rising, maybe the recognition should have come much earlier. It wouldn't take even a resolution of Parliament. I therefore want to invite, as we celebrate the competence of Honorable Achom, to invite those who are in the government to celebrate merit. If you are choosing a prime minister, choose the one that merits it. If you are choosing a minister, choose one who merits it. If you are choosing another DC, choose the one who merits it. You don't even surprise people you are.
Order.
Santa Lum, Professor Mushemesa. Shadow will speak. Shadow will speak. I'm telling you, we have only 5 minutes, but we also need a statement from the minister. There is a minister here. Alum Santa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I join colleagues in congratulating Honorable Julius Achon for the exceptional achievement that he has made for lifting our flag high. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion brought forward many achievements by Honorable Achon. Among them is a gold, 1994, a bronze, 1996, and many others. But Madam Speaker, as I congratulate him, I want also to note that apart from these achievements at the global and national level, in the communities, Madam Speaker, the mover mentioned so many activities that he has done at the community level. But I want to note that he did not only do in Utuke. In Oyam district, where I represent, Honorable Achon has also made tremendous contribution to the community in my district. And I want to thank you and congratulate you so much. Madam Speaker, as a parliament, we have gained. As a nation, as a country, we have gained a lot of credit at a global level. As a community, we have gained. It's now time for payback. As other athletes have been recognized and appreciated, I call upon the government to field it and find it proper to also appreciate and facilitate Honorable Julius Achon for these exceptional achievements. Madam Speaker, it should not only...
Rose Obiga, Professor Mushemesa.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. For the record, I'm Rose Obiga, woman MP, Terego. I join the rest of my colleagues, Madam Speaker, in congratulating my dear brother Achon. It is not easy, it needs persistence, it needs consistency, and you should be self-driven to arrive where he is. We are proud of Achon, and we ask Parliament to have something specific to show that this is our first child, our first colleague and brother who has moved an extra mile in games. I join the rest to thank.
Professor Mushemesa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I support the motion and congratulate my brother, Honorable Achon. Honorable Achon was an athlete, and at his peak, I was in leadership of Uganda Athletics Federation. I remember two things about Honorable Achon. One, high level of preparedness before the games. He knew what to do. When it came to building endurance, he knew which hills to climb. The second thing I remember about Honorable Achon was the decision-making during action. Whenever he was running 1,500 meters, and whenever the bell would be rung, he knew what gear to engage. And when he reached 200 meters, he engaged another gear. And when he reached the home stretch, you would think this is not a middle distance or long-term distance runner. You would think that he was a sprinter. So he knew what decision to take during action. I want to support the proposal in the motion that Julius Achon Honorable should be rewarded by the Ugandan government as we have rewarded others. Thank you, Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to add my voice on my colleagues to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius. Thank you so much for making us proud as a country, Uganda. And thank you for the other achievements and the work you are doing to your community. We thank you so much. Right Honorable Speaker, Achon is the captain of Interparliamentary Games as captain of athletics. I'm also a male, and I'm a captain female when we are in our Interparliamentary Games. He has not just made us proud on global. He's still doing the same because he still have the capability to run. When we go for these games, there is nobody who can run better than Achon. So we thank you so much, and we want to request you to continue serving your country. Right, Honorable Speaker, there is one problem that I'm seeing. We want to celebrate these people, but we don't know how they reach there. We have so many children who are making us proud. Recently, we had our children who made it to international level. We cannot now talk about them here, but they are doing very well. But Madam Speaker, we just want to reap where we did not sow. These people want to be helped. They go through a lot. They go through a lot to reach where they have reached. We need to support them. We need to give them facilitation so that they can do better than how they are doing it. But Achon, we want to thank you and we want to congratulate you. Thank you so much.
Honorable Bahati. Then the Minister of Sports.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise once again to support the motion of congratulating my friend, Honorable Achon Julius. Colleagues, this motion is not only congratulating Honorable Achon, but it's a recognition of the potential our country has in terms of sports. When Honorable Achon won the gold and the bronze and all these prizes that he has achieved, he lifted the spirit of unity for this country. And we want to congratulate you and to wish you the very best for the future. There are so many Achons in this country. There are so many Achons in Lango, so many Achons in Chigezi, so many of them in Iteso. As leaders of this country, it's our duty to make sure that this potential we have as a country and as a continent is fully realized. And on behalf of this side of government, I know the Minister of Sports will add on that the commitment we have led by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni to really fully appreciate this potential and support it and develop it. It is a good commitment. It's a commitment that we bring to this House, and to say that together as legislators, let's work hard to make sure that this potential of our children who can lift this country in terms of sports is fully realized and fully supported. I congratulate you and I wish you the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Bahati. The Prime Minister, we recognize the arrival of the Vice President. Minister of Education, would you want to comment before the Prime Minister commits government? Mindful of the Prime Minister's time, we have already ended on Prime Minister's time.
Procedural, Speaker. Procedural.
Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm rising on procedural matter.
Put on your mask.
I'm rising on procedural matter, right, Honorable Speaker. I put it on, but I didn't cover my mouth. Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. We are appreciating the achievement of Honorable Achon, and I think we are all concerned about it. Right, Honorable Speaker, we know that the basketball team are now playing and winning in Rwanda, and they are being chased out of the hotel because they have not been paid. So I wanted to have this information on the table before the minister makes a reply. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, it is important that we facilitate the several Achon who are scattered all over Uganda. In Dokolo, we have so many Achon who have even played in Britain barefooted. So the Achons are there. You go to Kapchorwa, they are there. You go to Taiso, they are there. We should promote them.
So what is the procedure?
So, Right Honorable Speaker, the procedure is that our team right now playing in Karamoja, in Rwanda, must be facilitated. And secondly, the basketball team. And secondly, can we facilitate the young sportsmen and women who are coming up? Right Honorable Speaker.
Emma Cecilia, you just smuggled in your issue. It was not a procedural matter. Can we have the minister just briefly?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to join Parliament of the Republic of Uganda to pay tribute to our very own Honorable Julius Achon. Let me declare my interest that myself and the late John Akibwa and Achon are related. That is why Achon is from Otuke, I am from Aleptong. So we are related. Madam Speaker, in every cycle of the Olympic Games, 5 former Olympians are chosen each from every continent of the world to be inducted into this prestigious Hall of Honor. For the 2020 Olympic Games, in the entire continent of Africa, it was only this Ugandan called Honorable Julius Achon who was inducted into this Hall of Honor. The Honorable Achon has a story, Right Honorable Speaker. The story is very, very humbling and yet inspiring and motivating to young athletes in Uganda. When you sit with Honorable Achon, he tells you his story, you feel like where he came from and where he is cannot meet, but he's here serving his second consecutive term. As government, Madam Speaker, we want to use the story of people like Honorable Achon to better the lifetime of sportsmen and women, especially the emerging sportsmen of our generation. And we can only do this by doing 2 or 3 things. Very, very important among them is the issue of the sports infrastructure. Achon could have gotten an opportunity to speak, but when you meet Achon, what he says is that, for me, at least I am alive and I'm surviving. But what about this person who motivated me? The late John Akibwa. I have always consoled him that we are pushing. Madam Speaker, you remember you made an order or you directed that this parliament be briefed on the state of affairs in terms of securing the grant for constructing the famous Akibwa Stadium and Buhinga. And you gave us 2 weeks, especially the Ministry of Finance. Because the Ministry of Education and Sports, we are done with our role in as far as the construction of these 2 stadia are concerned. Madam Speaker, we also have a responsibility to better the funding such that we can produce the more of Honorable Achon in this parliament. Finally, Madam Speaker, to the point raised by Honorable Cecilia Agwal, the government of the Republic of Uganda funded the national basketball team for the Afro basketball finals in Rwanda to a tune of 340 million Uganda shillings. The hotel where the team is currently residing, we have information that despite the fact that the tournament is ending on the 5th of September, the hotel has been paid duly up to the 7th of September 2021. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Prime Minister. You people, I've always told you, Atkins, you just come back. That you have the time to walk out from here, come back, go, come back. Less on a Prime Minister. Me, I sit here from the time I come until we leave.
Thank you so much. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, allow me on behalf of government to join you colleagues in congratulating our brother, the Honorable Julius Achon, who was with me in the 10th Parliament. I want to also thank him for ably using the little resources he gets to better the lives of his people. He talked of, members talked of constructing a health facility in one of his areas. I want to commit government. Since the president has already directed me and the Minister of Health to come up with a framework paper where we shall recruit doctors at sub-county health center series. And I believe this is where Honorable Achomu's facility falls. So I want to commit that we shall, as government, send a helping hand so that the communities, the intended communities, can get an operational theater, and also because this is where we are going right now. So brothers and sisters, honorable members, allow me to once again congratulate you, brother, for having made our country proud.
Prime Minister, thank you so much. Since the young man who is being talked about is here, can you just say a word to the House? A word to the House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I feel like crying, but the cry of joy. I encourage you not to shed tears in a bad way. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you and want to thank honorable members for congratulating me when I'm still alive. Appreciate it. Madam Speaker, as I speak, small Achon from the village Kolawake, small district called Otoke, small country called Uganda, was on top of the world on 25th July 2021. Madam Speaker, when my story is told, makes me feel like I was one of the greatest athletes on the planet. But when God prepares something for a poor man who will never be rotten, I want to say a few words to the world as we all share and celebrate together. The power and the fame we obtain from our achievement that matters. Rather, it is what we do with the power that matters most. When I got the opportunity that life gave me, I focus on what matters most to my people who focus a great challenge in Otoke. Madam Speaker, when I speak, is the joy of people of Otoke who brought me here. When I speak, I talk for the joy of this country. When I was competing in 1994, Northern Uganda was in hell. People were sleeping in the bush because of LRA. But I did not lose hope to represent my mother country. I want to appreciate and thank the major people who helped me, Christopher Mugisa from Makere College School, who picked me from my village in Otoke. And then I want to thank one of the white men from United States, Virginia States, who took me into his house and catered for me as adopted child. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I encourage you to do the best. When God has picked you, it picked you for the purpose. Whatever you call, this is what I'm going to say. This is my message. You, and it's the lesson that I've learned, that never give up. God by whatever name you call him, is watching every effort you make. In your time, and the time is coming. Lastly, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the journey is not over after the medal. Many times when we hit a goal or accomplish the mission, we sit back, relax, enjoy. I love sport greatly, but my fame got illuminated not on the sport arena or at the height of the sport achievement, but more without I did outside sports. My work with the community, my interaction with the sport fraternity, my commitment to the services of human and humanity. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I say this opportunity for God and my country. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Honorable Achon, and congratulations once more. Honorable members, we've had enough debate. I now put a question on the motion of resolution of Parliament to congratulate Honorable Achon Julius Boa for his induction into the World Olympian Association as Olympian for Life. For those in favor, say aye, and against, the ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, this motion had prayers. One of them is to recognize the Honorable Achon. The second one was to pay him like other athletes have been paid. In fact, I thought that when the three ministers spoke, the Honorable Obua, the Honorable Bahati, and the Prime Minister, that they are going to tell us how those two prayers will be implemented. One, recognizing Honorable Achon, and two, paying him like other athletes. Unfortunately, they also just enjoyed making contribution. Because government does not speak like an ordinary MP.
Actually,
government answers prayers. Madam Speaker, that's the procedure issue I am raising.
The Prime Minister committed herself to make a follow-up on the resolutions that were made here. No, including the payment. Including the payment. So whatever has been said here, you must follow it up as the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, I must report to you that we are not happy. We're supposed to have a statement from tourism at 2. The person responsible, the minister responsible was not there in time. We're supposed to have a report from finance. Also, they were not available. This house cannot be waiting for people. It was in the chairperson's communication, and we're supposed to have it immediately. I have seen the ministers coming when the time has passed. Kindly whip your ministers to be here in time when they are supposed to make statements. You make your government chief whip look like he doesn't know what he's doing. That young man suffers a lot. So it is not good. We asked for reports today, and they came at their own time. It's a sacrifice to be here, to be seated here from 2, and you come at 4. For you, you come at 4 because your time is 4. Prime Minister's time.
Item 7, Prime Minister's time.
Madam Speaker, the procedure, because and I'm very, very sorry. You see, the leader of government business is supposed to be here leading a government. She only slopes in towards the 4 to answer questions, leaving a former FDC youth leader. Western.
Honorable Semoju. Honorable Semoju.
Order.
Honorable Semoju.
Madam, I am on
Honorable
procedure.
Taiwo is NRM.
I am on
And is the
procedure.
government chief.
Order. Procedure takes precedent. You've taken long. So, Madam, the procedure issue I am raising is whether the Prime Minister, leader of government business, must not be coming to Parliament here to lead her team, abandon her work to Honorable Taiwo, whose job is described in our Rules of Procedure and Administration of Parliament Act as mobilizing MPs to attend. And then he's the one answering, taking notice.
Honorable Semoju. All these days we've been having the deputy prime minister. All the days we've had a prime minister in the house. And the prime minister in the house who has been here was Hajat Nakadama. So she was represented. And today she has come herself. We must be mindful she's also busy. And there are 3 people in that office. Once the deputy comes, that means she's here. Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I feel I should talk. When I was appointed Prime Minister, my brother, he claims to be my friend. He ably went on TV and he claimed I cannot even manage a garbage company. Right Honorable Speaker, I have been watching him on TV, castigating. I feel I want to ask him in front of everybody present, because I think enough is enough. What is it that you want from me as an individual?
Order. Order, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, I felt I must tell him in the face.
Personal issues.
Procedure, Madam Speaker. Procedure, please.
Order. Can everybody sit? Prime Minister, it is Prime Minister's time.
Okay, that was it, by the way. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to
Honorable Semoju.
Allow me, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Semoju, kindly allow the Prime Minister answer the questions. Fine, you respond. Right Honorable Speaker, no.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. If the Prime Minister focused, if she focused on,
Members, this is not a market.
Madam Speaker, if the Prime Minister focused on answering, I certainly wouldn't be standing here on order. But for her to suggest in the broad daylight that there is something I want from her.
Now, Honorable Semuju. Honorable Semuju. The Prime Minister was raising on the matter where he said she's never in the house. That she's never in the house, and that's why she was reacting like that. But I clarified that the Prime Minister is always in the house. And let's not take anything personal, members. We are in this house today, tomorrow we'll leave, other people will come. Whether we are fishermen, we are fisherwomen, whichever, it is our luck. You get it, eh? So why would you? Eh? So let's live, let's coexist. Honorable Prime Minister, can you
Thank you so much
respond?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the wise ruling. I had a question from Honorable Atuka Isaac, the Wakem, Member of Parliament, Upper Madi County in Madiokoro District, who asked me a number of questions. I don't know whether he's around so that he can repeat his questions. If he's not, I can go through the questions.
Honorable Atuka, are you around?
If he's not, I can
He's not there, you can repeat.
Right Honorable Speaker, the other time I would ask the questions and then answer.
He's not in?
If he's not here, then let me go through the questions. Right Honorable Speaker, on 8th of August 2019, that the Office of the Prime Minister of the President directed the Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Office of the Prime Minister, to provide relief support to the people.
Members, don't go away. We shall have the reports on EMYOGA, starting with the Renzori, then Lango.
Arara Parish, Madiokoro District. These people referred to benefit from the relief aid were affected by heavy hailstorm on 30th April 2019, resulting into a loss of livelihood sources, breakdown of classroom blocks, hence affecting teaching and learning of children in that area. Since then, up to date, none of the affected persons and institutions have benefited from the relief aid. The impact of this disaster has remained fresh in the minds and livelihoods of the victims. The relief items requested included food, iron sheets, and other building materials, planting materials, household items, among others. The question was, can you assure the victims of the disaster as to when your office is providing relief support? My answer is, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, my office receives requests for relief support from all parts of the country. The Department of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Management reviews each request to establish its merit and sends a technical team to undertake a verification assessment and seeks further details and clarification from the respective district chief administrative officers, the district disaster management committees, focal person, vanish with the details and focus about the disaster incidents. The Office of the Prime Minister dispatches relief support, mainly food relief items, maize, flour, beans, and basic non-food items like blankets, mosquitoes, and jerrycans where applicable to the victims in the shortest time possible. In the event that the request does not directly fall within the mandate of my office, for example, reconstruction of damaged schools and other structures, planting materials, building materials, to mention but a few, my office forwards such requests to the respective sector ministries for appropriate action. In this particular case, involving victims of heavy storm on 30th of April 2019 in Arara Parish, Alepi sub-county in Margiokoro district, I have learned, unfortunately, that no action was taken by that time, and I'm investigating the reasons for the failure to respond on time. In the meantime, honorable colleague, I have directed a technical team to work with the local authorities to establish the current situation and needs of the victims, and an appropriate action will be taken within 2 weeks from now. And Honorable Etuka Isaac, I want to request that we keep in touch so that the entire process is in the limelight. Number 2, still the same member of parliament, he asked a question that on 8th August 2019, Honorable Nawe More Kamukama, then Principal Private Secretary to the President, in a letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, directed that new classroom blocks should be constructed at Kati and at Tereva primary schools following a heavy storm that disorganized classroom blocks in those 2 primary schools. Since 2019 to date, children in these 2 schools learn under trees. This affects the teaching and learning of those children in that area. He wanted me to update the country and the communities of the 2 primary schools as to when these classroom blocks will be constructed. My response is, due to funding constraints, Minister of Education and Sports has not been in position to undertake civil works at Kati and Tereva primary schools. As a way forward, I have directed the ministry to dispatch a team of engineers to conduct a needs assessment in the 2 schools to ensure that they are budgeted for in the next financial year 2022-2023 for implementation. The same member of parliament asked another question that on 15th July 2020, in a letter signed by Eileen Kauma, Mrs. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, addressed to the undersigned in a response to a letter dated 28th May 2020 to the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports. The minister claimed that he forwarded the issue of constructing Anyiribu and Attack Seed Secondary School in the Upper Madi County to the Commissioner of Government Secondary Schools, and that appropriate steps would be taken to undertake the construction of the seed secondary schools. To date, according to him, nothing tangible is done on the ground to construct these schools. For my information, he wanted that the contractors for Ayiribu Secondary School were diverted after the contract award to Gibo Chip Stores and Dolphin Construction Engineer Construction. My response is, his question was, when is the actual construction of these 2 schools starting? My response is, I want to confirm that the 2 sub-counties have both been earmarked to benefit under the Uganda Secondary Education Expansion Project. This project is to be funded by a loan facility from World Bank, and it is currently before Parliament for approval. The project will see 116 new secondary schools in the sub-counties without and expand 61 existing government secondary schools. Ayiribu sub-county will receive a seed school under the second phase of the Uganda Secondary Education Expansion Project, while Afak Secondary School has been earmarked as one of the 61 schools for expansion under the same project. For ease of reference, I have attached a list of beneficial schools as indicated in your paper. Preliminary process such as geographical, topographical surveys and land confirmation have been concluded. The Minister of Education and Sports is yet to embark on the procurement process for the contractors and to undertake the civil works this financial year, 2021-2022, upon approval of the loan by Parliament. It is also not true that a contractor of Anyiribu was diverted. In 2017-2018, Government of Uganda undertook construction of 12 seed secondary schools, among which was Pawa Seed Secondary School in Arua district then, before Madi Okoro was created as a district. A total budget of shillings 1.4 billion was allocated over 2 financial years, that is 2017-2018, 2018-2019, for the completion of Pawa Seed Secondary School. A request by Arua District Local Government to move the secondary batch of funds, shillings 700, in the financial year 2018-2019 was not honored since the funds were initially appropriated for one school, that's Pawa Seed School, which has since been completed. Colleagues, I have attached this list. There are other areas in the country for your information, and of course, follow up. The number, I don't want to go through them. Since you have this on your iPad, you can go through all of these lists, and most districts have really benefited. You can go and see number 74 and see Anyiribu Secondary School, number 74, Madi Okoro District, Anyiribu Secondary School is going to be worked on in phase 3. Honorable colleagues, let me go to another question. The same member of Parliament, in a letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water Environment, dated 13th July 2017, by Nawe More Kamukama, Mrs., then the Principal Private Secretary, to His Excellency the President. The Minister was directed to find water solutions for the people of Madi Okoro County. Since then, no action, according to him, has been taken to help the people in the water-stressed area of Madi Okoro. He was asking me whether I can assure the people of Upper Madi County and Madi Okoro District at large on the progress of providing piped water to the people of Madi Okoro, since boreholes have failed, particularly in larger parts of Okero and Yurubu sub-counties, Upper Madi. My response is in regard to the issue raised by Honorable on implementing a presidential directive on improving water availability on the coverage in Madi Okoro, Madi Okero. I wish to inform honorable members and Right Honorable Speaker that the Ministry of Water and Environment has undertaken the interventions in the 3 areas of safe water supply for domestic use, and water for production, and water for irrigation. The safe water access rate in Madiokoro district vary from 39 in Pawa sub-county to 95 in Okero sub-county. Madi Okero has 427 domestic water points, which serve a total of 814 people in the rural areas. Honorable Speaker, Madi Okoro district receives funding from central government under the district water and sanitation conditional grant to implement water and sanitation activities within the district. For financial year 2020-2021, Madi Okoro district received 79,507,777 for non-wage and 138,000 for development and 19,800,000 for sanitation development. This makes a total of 802,445,777 for water supply and sanitation development within the district. It is important to note that Madi Okoro constituency, they are planned interventions under the Integrated Water Management and Development Project funded by World Bank and under the Ministry of Water and Environment. This is to construct Ola gravity flow scheme, which has reached its final design stage, and a tender for construction will be issued. This scheme will supply parts of the sub-counties of Okoro, Anyiribu, Ogoko, Paol, and Afak. The sources of water for this scheme is the river EMYOGA. A second water supply system under the same project above is a Nyao water supply and sanitation system, covering parts of Adupi and Aliam in the present day Terego district. Ligbo in the Madi Okoro district and Aliwa in Aliwa sub-county in Yumbe district. The refugee settlements in the project area include Reno Camp and Vepi in Wariam and Odupi sub-counties in Terego district, and Vidividi Zone 5 refugee settlement in Aliwa sub-county in Yumbe district. Under the same project, honorable colleagues, 2 solar-powered water supply systems will be implemented in Madi Okoro, in Ewang and Drayo in Achodri sub-county in Terego district. Colleagues, attached Appendix C shows, the table shows you the coverage of water and sanitation as of 1st September 2021. The detailed breakdown is equally attached. Allow me to go to another question, Honorable Speaker. The other question is from Honorable David Karwanga, Member of Parliament, Busuju County in Mityana. Is asking me the following questions. 1, in 2016, the President pledged to tarmac a number of roads in Mityana district, including Kanoni Musigi, Mityana Road, and the Kabasanda, Kakindo, Wabigalo, Mityana Road, and subsequently the feasibility studies and detailed engineering designs of the roads were done according to Uganda National Roads Authority. Annual report of 2019-2020. The questions are, may I know from me, he wants to know from me about the status of the road. He's also trying to find out, is there any plan to compensate the project affected persons? And if yes, how far has government gone with this move? Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, Honorable members, the honorable member requested for an update on the status of the following roads. Number one, Kanoni Msiji, Mitiana Road, and the Kabasanda Kakindo, Wabigalo Mitiana Road. These are national roads which are managed by the Ministry of Works and Transport through the Uganda National Roads Authority. However, the Kakindo Wabigalo Mitiana is a feeder road managed by the district. Kanoni Misiji, Mitiana is 39 kilometers. Honorable Speaker, the Kanoni Misiji Mitiana Road is an existing gravel in the central region of Uganda. The road was prioritized for upgrade to the paved standard under the Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program in the third National Development Plan, known as NDP3. The designs for the upgrading of the road were completed in 2018. The honorable member also requested for information on if there is any plan to compensate the project affected persons on the same road project. The government will ensure that all the affected persons, like it has been doing before, are adequately compensated for any land that is taken to be used in the road works. Honorable Speaker, Kakindo Wabigalo Mitiana Road is an existing gravel road in the central region of Uganda. The road has two sections, including the Kabasanda Kakindo section and the Kakindo Wabigalo Mitiana section. The Kabasanda Kakindo Zigoti Road, 21 kilometers, is maintained by Uganda National Roads Authority and is currently in a fair condition. The first 4 kilometers of the road from Kabasanda were upgraded to paved standard under the MPG Town Roads upgrading. I want to assure you, honorable colleagues, honorable Speaker, that all the honorable members of Parliament of the following, that the Ministry of Works through UNRA will ensure the upgrading of the Kanoni Misiji Mitiana Road is implemented as planned in the NTP 3 period. And that two, the Ministry of Works and Transport will ensure that the Kabasanda Kakindo Wabigalo Mitiana Road is maintained in the motor-able condition. In conclusion, honorable members and honorable colleagues, honorable Speaker, government is committed to ensuring that key transport infrastructure is developed and maintained to support the national programs aimed at socio-economic transformation of Uganda. And the government will ensure that the key transport routes across the country are developed and maintained. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Information, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
Information, Madam Speaker.
For the response to those queries. Honorable Kalwanga.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there's something that is missing in the explanation Right Honorable Prime Minister has given. These were bridges in 2006, and they are not supposed to be repaired. We are looking at tarmacking them. So if you're telling me to go to UNRA, it's quite unfair. We need to understand whether they're going to be tarmacked, and that's it. Thank you very much.
He's looking at tarmacking vis-a-vis maintenance.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Like I said, the roads that are under NDP3 will be tarmacked as programmed by government.
Is that clarified?
Madam Speaker, I'm happy with it.
Okay.
That is if the bridge is going to be
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Atop Charles, Member of Parliament representing Busolo South constituency. Madam Speaker, I rise under Rule 41.3. On 22nd July 2021, I wrote a question for Prime Minister's time. I forwarded the same to the clerk to Parliament for response. I'm told that the question was forwarded to the Prime Minister and the lead of government business. The question relates to health concerns, where in Busi sub-county, a total of over 35,000 people are using dilapidated toilet facilities. My question was for intervention by government to erect toilets.
Charles,
Yes,
if you wrote a question,
yes.
it's going to be responded to.
Well, the Prime Minister has just answered questions of 8th August.
When did you write?
22nd July, and another one on 29th July. So my question was, what procedure does she use for the selective response to some questions? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You know what happens? They don't go by dates. They do kind of a raffle. They just select 15 questions and pass it on. So yours could be coming in, but if it is urgent, it's really very urgent, please walk to the Prime Minister's office. If it is really very urgent, Prime Minister's office is open. If it is concerning any minister, we've advised our ministers that they should be accommodative of members of Parliament.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But the raffle says 15 questions, and she has only attended to only 5 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I've been aroused, my curiosity has been aroused by the concern of the Honourable Member from Busiro that his questions have been lagging with the Prime Minister, or whatever they are lagging for this long, and we are strictly operating on the rules. Remember, Honourable Speaker, that the 10th Parliament, for whatever reasons the Parliament thought, amended the nature and the scope of the Prime Minister's question time, the way we knew it under the Commonwealth practice, to allow for the Prime Minister time to offer more robust and cogent responses. So we amended the rules. Otherwise, the Prime Minister was supposed to answer instantly. So even when members write, the Prime Minister chooses when, and now members are speaking about months. Speaker, I don't think we need to have a more plausible and acceptable response at why members' questions are lagging, whatever they are lagging.
I want to refer you, Leader of Opposition, to your rules of procedure 41.4. The clerk shall enter all questions in the Prime Minister's question book, record book, and select 15 questions by raffle. By raffle, which shall be forwarded to the Prime Minister. So the question would be, were the 15 questions forwarded to the Prime Minister? And if the 15, we will follow that up with the clerk and make sure that the questions are always forwarded to the Minister. Mr. Okema, take note. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Prime Minister. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I recall this issue of our rules was raised, I think, by the Honourable Semuju. And you did direct the Committee on Rules to look at these rules and come and report to the House. It is over 60 days since you gave the directives. Can we get an update from the chair of the Rules Committee on this matter? Because as you can see, these rules are really unfair and are going to disadvantage members. So I want to request that you direct the chair of the Rules Committee to give us an update on how far they have gone on this matter.
We actually said the chair should look at the rules exhaustively, not really in a particular rule 41. So we'll wait, we'll ask Honorable Katonto to review all the rules and bring back to this house. Yes.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I concur with the submission of the honorable member that probably some rules need some urgency, because you could see, really can see that sub-rule 4, of course, not that we are, mistrusting of the clerk. Who attends the rough where the clerk is tossing around these questions? Who is in attendance to determine whether the selection is not convenient for convenience, that members are properly serviced? I would like to appeal to the Speaker to even reassert the urgency of this, that members are facilitated, right, on the Speaker.
Actually, even the time limitation of the Prime Minister's time should not take only 45 minutes. Assuming the Prime Minister had the 15 questions, it would still limit her within the 15 minutes. Maybe she should only end up answering 3 or 4 questions. So that really raises an issue.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I want to invite the Prime Minister to take time on Wednesday to watch the question time in the British Parliament. Prime Ministers in British, where we copy this culture, don't give lectures, they answer questions. In fact, on Wednesday, the Prime Minister can answer 100 questions in 30 minutes. So I want to invite her to take off time, watch the British Parliament on Wednesday. They have a whole channel for Parliament. It will give you knowledge on how to answer questions, such that you don't answer 5 when the rule says you answer 15.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right, Honorable. A senior colleague, Honorable Semu Uganda, has always reminded us every day here, right, Honorable, that we must follow the rules of procedure. That we should always follow the rules of procedure. Right, Honorable Speaker, the questions have been brought to the Prime Minister, and the question is brought to the Prime Minister. Our question is she answered. Right, Honorable, I want to assure you that Honorable Mpuga doesn't have any evidence that there is any question which has been brought. Which has
Why are you
been
talking
brought.
about Honorable Mpuga?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Honorable Uganda, that a question has been brought to the Prime Minister and she has not entered.
You know.
I'm on order. So, right, Honorable Speaker, we have a very clear Rule 41, where questions should be published, so that maybe members can know their questions were taken to the Prime Minister or no. Is it in order for a senior legislator to keep ridiculing colleagues, that for them to know how to do their work, they should go on TV? Because Honorable Mpuga has failed so big, Honorable Uganda has failed so big in this house.
You see?
Maybe we create a chamber for him so that he is above us.
Clarification, right, Honorable.
Is he in order to continue belittling colleagues this way?
On a procedure.
Clarification, right, Honorable.
Members, I had already made a ruling that let the clerk make sure the 15 questions. If you want to fight, you go and fight in the corridor. I have made a ruling let the clerk make sure the 15 questions are always given to the members. Let the 15 questions be always given to the Prime Minister, and those who are also doing the raffle must look at the dates when the questions were brought on board. Look at the dates, not just making a raffle. And of course, the rules also say they should be published. If possible, you should be able to publish the questions that have been answered, that have been responded to, and what is pending. I know you have a lot what is pending. So what you can do, you can actually this time send more than 15 so that they respond 15 as they prepare for the other 15. And we move on the next item.
Item 6, presentation of reports on the implementation of the EMYOGA program in various regions of the
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
Renzori, members, you remember we asked you to go to the field, and when we asked you to go to the field, you were supposed to, we gave you a recess on a fact-finding mission on EMYOGA.
Procedure on Rule
EMYOGA
59.
was given out to our people, and we needed to find out what has happened to EMYOGA before we go on to the parish model. We need to learn some lessons from EMYOGA.
Procedure, Madam
Procedure,
Speaker.
Madam
Rule
Speaker.
number 59.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
Motion without notice. Rule
Under
59.
Rule 86, Right Honorable.
Honorable Honda, Alex is representing for Renzori sub-region.
Thank you very much. My fellow Renzorian is here. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 12th sitting of the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, held on Tuesday, 3rd August 2021, you directed all honorable members of Parliament to conduct oversight assessment of the EMYOGA program in their constituencies. And we, as members of Parliament from our region, we divided ourselves in our respective constituencies and conducted a number of meetings, engagements to this effect. I have to say that we did not exhaust all that was required because of the time frame, but also the COVID restrictions, and also in some cases unavailability of some of the EMYOGA members, respectively. But largely, we managed to collect what I'm going to present. I will not go to the background of EMYOGA, as everyone knows about it, how it started. All of that information is available. The objectives of EMYOGA are very few: increased employment, job opportunities for the less privileged but active Ugandans, increase access to specialized financial services to rural areas, improving household income of the project beneficiaries, and enhanced entrepreneurial capacity of different categories through sensitization, skilling, and tooling. I will go to page 3 where we did the summary of the funds disbursed for each district. And I have to report that out of the 9 districts plus 1 city, funds were disbursed to these districts, and the money, 90% of the circles, EMYOGA, they received the money. The table shows detailed breakdown for each district. For purposes of time, I will just make a summary that the Rwenzori sub-region in total had 447 registered EMYOGA circles, and in total received 11,730 million Uganda shillings. But out of the 10 districts, including a city, we were shocked that the Kegegwa district did not get any money of EMYOGA. So up to now, the files are still stuck in the RDC office, and there is the people of Kegegwa are very disgusted about not having the chance of accessing the EMYOGA money. As I explained earlier on the methodology and the type of questions which were asked, we were much more interested to know whether money was released, the criteria used for distributing EMYOGA funds, who qualifies for the funds, which circles groups were registered, what are the accountability measures for the beneficiaries, do they exist, the safeguards which have been put in place to ensure the funds which have been disbursed are paid back, were there extortion from the public involved, including the bank accounts. Now I go to the findings. In all the entire districts, it was realized that the timing of the EMYOGA program coincided with the political campaign period, leading to the populace misconstruing it to be a political reward. In some instances, transfers of cash to accounts were done immediately after elections, and as such, many beneficiaries saw it as a form of reward for voting well, and that is a casino. This has greatly affected the program, especially when it comes to loan recoveries. Number 2, limited knowledge on proper bookkeeping for circle treasurers and leaders, leading to poor financial records for most circles that were visited. The planning of this program was skewed because it did not allow communities to participate in identifying their problems so that solutions could be meaningfully found and ownership addressed. Determining the enterprises from the implementation side and not the beneficiary side caused some communities to simply attach themselves to the enterprises they had no idea about. So just people were there running around with commercial officers and RDCs just fulfill the need for getting the money, but the real essence of how they can make use of this money and multiply wealth was quite absent. Delayed and no payment for the CDOs and commercial officers who are supposed to do support supervision to the circles. During the field visit, we were surprised to learn that Microfinance Support Center was supposed to pay a monthly facilitation of 200,000 to each sub-county CDO and 300,000 to the district CDO and commercial officer. We found out that the CDOs were last paid in December 2020 and had over 7 months they were claiming in arrears. This non-payment and failure of MSC to fulfill the contractual promises greatly affected the EMYOGA program. 31 CDOs, for instance, in Chenjojo, times 7 months, times 200,000. You can imagine. So MSC promised to pay the staff in arrears, but the question that remained unanswered was where they were going to get those funds when the financial year already ended. So the arrangement, as you know how districts operate, these commercial officers and the CDOs are starved. They don't have a budget that can enable them to move to the field, monitor, do appraisals, and ensure that they are right enterprises that are being financed. So at the end of the day, they were just doing paperwork, and in some cases, even demanding money from the poor groups for their facilitation. This even tempted the CDOs and some commercial officers to extort money from these poor citizens. So you can imagine the environment that was created as a result of that. In the design of the program, there was no plan for motorable means to facilitate monitoring and supervision, yet the program has a lot of community-based engagements. There were delays on the side of MSC to process certificates of some circles. For example, by the time of the visit, one EMYOGA circle of Mwenge South, local leaders, has not yet received registration certificate, and this is worse when it comes to Kegegwa district. We found out that circles with fewer associations, like the tax operators circle, carpenters circle, welders, saloons, PWDs, and media circles were the worst performing entities, with some indicators that the EMYOGA cash could have been shared, though the groups are firefighting through making loan recoveries. On the other hand, circles with many associations and members many association members were doing fairly well. These were traditional circles which were well established and they just followed tune, like women entrepreneurs, veterans, market vendors, and produce dealers. They showed clear indicators of performance and the loan recoveries. Some were on schedule. The higher commitment amount of saving required for associations, that is 30%, to access a bigger loan from the seed capital is a big challenge. And as such, people end up taking loans of less than 500,000, which cannot create much impact. The seed capital of 30 million per circle was too small, especially for associations with very many members, women entrepreneurs, local leaders, veterans, market vendors, and produce dealers, whose composition, some go to 1,000 members. This 30 million was really very, very small for such groups. Of course, the effects of COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, just like any other business, EMYOGA circles have been equally hit. This has been now used as an excuse for most of the groups which are failing to recover the planned loan recoveries. The whole notion was that after 6 months, then recoveries are being made. There are no coordinated guidelines put in place for effective management of the EMYOGA program. On asking why was delay of the people to access the 30 million on their accounts and why the process was taking so long, Right Honorable Speaker, the district commercial officers expressed that microfinance did not provide facilitation for them to do the work faster, and that also the COVID lockdown made it even slower because the SOPs could not allow them to conduct the general meetings for the respective constituency circles to appoint their bank signatories. There was a big information gap on what was going on, what would be required next, and this subjected them to extortionists in the guise that they were all required from EMYOGA beneficiaries. Some misunderstandings had started developing between some circle leaderships for a number of reasons, including lack of appropriate information. This caused the threat that maybe would not be allowed to access their money as a result. The planning of this program, as I stated earlier, was skewed because it did not allow communities to participate in identifying their problems so that the solutions could be meaningful and owned, determining the enterprises from the implementation side and not the beneficiary side. So observations, Madam Speaker. In general, it was established that the Microfinance Support Center disbursed funds to the district's respective accounts as required by the terms and conditions. In all the districts of the region, it is only Chegegwa district where funds have not been accessed by the EMYOGA circles to date. The notion of EMYOGA comes out to be very attractive with good intent to enable the lowest person access cheaper credit, but the mechanism in which it has been executed falls short of the desired goals. There is very little impact of the EMYOGA program given the time frame and the context in which it was introduced, especially during the charged political environment. Whenever a development program is established, there is need for stakeholder mapping and to apportion responsibility. Members of Parliament, district council members, RDCs, and other relevant leaders be given adequate information so that we avoid a recurrence of us doing post-mortem like we are now doing on EMYOGA. I think we did that with the other programs like Ntandikwa and so on. The local people should not continue to be excited or incited to just form groups for receiving money, but rather they form purposeful associations where they themselves collect the starting capital themselves and are supported along their way. So there is great need for mindset awareness in this regard. This bottom-up ownership is extremely important if we are to empower our people. I now, Madam Speaker, move to recommendations which will lead to the conclusion. Microfinance Support Center should come up and support operationalization of this program. If that is done, better achievements will be registered if there are financial support and other synergies to this effect. Commercial officers and CDOs need to be facilitated to train, monitor, and supervise the EMYOGA program. The Microfinance Support Center should add more capital to those circles performing better as to bridge the gap arising out of the demands from the registered associations in the respective EMYOGA circles. Need for continuous and vigorous training and monitoring of association members to appreciate and own circles as a means of sustainable cooperative development. There is need to provide for motorable means to facilitate commercial officers and other officers to conduct regular field visits. These are normal. I do not understand when the government is introducing such a big multi-billion program, why they cannot really have a holistic plan to know how it can be executed to give us results. And we have many case studies in this country where we have seen success. So I don't know why we go in a haphazard manner and then we lose a lot of resources. I think the minister will explain. My friend Kasolo is here. Need for continuous and vigorous training, that is a must. There is need to provide the proper and coordinated program guidelines need to be produced for harmonized implementation. Government should make provisions for additional seed to benefit more members within this period, because now some of the circles are going to break down. They think this, since it was a political program, now there is no more commitment from government. We need that confidence to address it as soon as possible. Microfinance Support Center activities should be investigated, especially on the issue of non-payment of the CDOs. If that was in the contract and they engaged the CDOs and commercial officers, then they should have provided that funding. And of course, you cannot provide money without auditing to know how these circles are functioning. So we need that duty to be done quickly. More community sensitization, that's repetition. Decentralization, decentralize the EMYOGA program, because everything much as we have regional centers, but the EMYOGA program, the way it was structured, it was so much controlled from the center. So we need more empowerment at the lower level. Amend the cooperative law and put clear penalties for those who default payments and loan recoveries under EMYOGA. That is if the mistakes are not from our side of government. There is need for training of association leaders. The information dissemination component should be mainstreamed throughout the whole implementation roadmap, because the duty bearers tend to deprive the right holders of information and leave them to be taken advantage of. Government gets an inbuilt system that tracks every coin of money that is disbursed and cause duty bearers and accounting officers to give regular account of the progress on implementation in their respective jurisdictions. Do a thorough risk assessment on the program and provide mitigation strategies. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, given the above findings, it is important to note that the EMYOGA is a good, well-intended socioeconomic transformational program that, if well implemented, can enable the local persons to improve on their economic well-being. It is equally important to note that for many decades, the government has made attempts to reach the common person through programs like Entandikwa, among others, but the mode and manner of implementation has always failed the desired goals, and the EMYOGA is no exception and needs very quick remedial interventions to avert another wastage of taxpayers' money. I beg to move, Madam Speaker, and the list of the members of Parliament is attached.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Alex, and thank you for the report. Very good report. And when we listen to this report, it should be able to help us form a decision on the next programs. Thank you. Members will receive all the reports, then debate on the reports after they've been submitted. Lango.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Opio Samuel, Member of Parliament for Kole North constituency, but also the General Secretary of the Lao Parliamentary Group. And I'll be presenting this report on behalf of the Lao sub-region. The report is uploaded on the iPads, and I'll be giving highlights starting from page 1 of this report. We've already understood clearly the basis on which this oversight function was done, based on the directive that was given by the Speaker between the 5th to the 17th of August. And there were 8 terms of reference, which focused on from receipts of the funds to their disbursements, to their recoveries, and to the controls and the systems that were in place. In our methodology, we had the oversight that focused on meetings with the district leaderships, that was the RDCs, the COWs, the LC5s, and the district commercial officers. There were meetings with the SACCO leaders, meetings with the association leaders, the members of the different associations, meetings with the SACCO banks, but also reviews of the documents of EMYOGA guidelines, reports, and also the bank statements. On item number 4, the scope of the EMYOGA oversight, Lao sub-region comprises 9 districts and 1 city, namely Amolata, Alebtong, Apach, Doholo, Lira, Kole, Kwania, Oyam, and the Tuhe district, where Honorable Julius comes from, and we want to also congratulate him as a Lao Parliamentary Group, and Lira City. And Madam Speaker, I want to report that all the 9 districts gave reports on the oversight of a EMYOGA program within their respective constituencies. On the key findings on the EMYOGA program, the first was on the funds released in the Lao sub-region districts. We noted that generally all the reporting administrative units, that is the districts and the cities, indicated that the SACCOs received the funds into their accounts The local leader circles received 50 million shillings each in their accounts, while the others received 30 million shillings in their accounts. However, there were a number of discrepancies that we noted. In Otuhe district, Otuhe County Veterans EMYOGA did not receive their 30 million, although Microfinance Support Center had indicated in their earlier letter that money had been sent totaling to 560 million for all the 18 circles. The bank statements showed no evidence of money sent to the veteran circle of Otuhe County. In Kole district, the Kole South Local Leaders Circle, it was noted that they received 50 million shillings twice on the 15th of December 2020, making a total of 100 million. However, 50 million was removed from the account on the 21st of December 2020. The bank manager indicated that this was an error and was reversed and sent back to the head office. The description of the transaction was Kole South Local Leaders, which didn't match the explanation from the bank manager. This matter is still a subject of inquiry by the police. Secondly, on matters to do with criteria for distributing the EMYOGA funds and the qualification, the funds were distributed based on the association savings, the registration with the circle, payment for membership, subscription fees, active participation in the enterprise. You needed also not to have a running loan, but also you have to apply through the associations and not directly. But further, you needed to have saved a third of the amounts that you wish to borrow. So if you needed to borrow 3 million shillings, you needed to have saved at least 1 million shillings. The maximum repayment period was 4 months. There was further guidance given by the Microfinance Support Center that for all the withdrawals from the bank accounts, recommendation letters had to be issued by the district commercial officers. Therefore, no withdrawals could take place from any bank account without a recommendation letter from the district commercial officers. But also they were required to witness the disbursement of the funds to the different associations. There were several observations in the various districts. In Amolata district, whereas there was a substantive district commercial officer in place, the RDC instead appointed a community development officer in his place to handle the EMYOGA program. In Lira City, due to lack of existence of independent administrative structures, the EMYOGA program, including the disbursements, were managed by the Lira District Trade, Industry, and Commercial Departments. And this, in a way, impacted on the implementation of EMYOGA within Lira City. In Aleptong district, due to the stringent requirements, whereas funds had been received in the circle account, none had been disbursed at the time of the oversight. In other words, all the 30 millions, the 50 millions had not been withdrawn or disbursed to any of the associations from the date of receipt. However, Moroto Journalist Circle indicated that they had fulfilled all the requirements, but were not granted access to the funds when they went to the bank, though the commercial officer had already given them a recommendation letter. We could not establish the reasons why the disbursements were not honored. In Amolata district also, we noted that no fund disbursements had also been made. In Oduhe district, we found that 3 circles had not yet accessed their funds, and the reasons mainly given was that because of the COVID-19 period, the members were reluctant to take up the loans because they will face the challenges in terms of repayment. In Kole district, there were several instances where the 1/3 saving requirement for the loan applied was not complied with. As stated, you needed to have saved at least 1/3 of what you needed. So if you needed to borrow 3 million shillings, you should have saved at least 1 million. But we observed that in several cases, as indicated on page 4, this was not complied with. For example, in a Patch Produce Dealers Association, 910,000 was saved, but what was disbursed was 5 million shillings, more than 5 times the savings. When you scroll down to the bottom, the last bullet, in Opera Performing Artists, Okerodot Performing Artists, under the logo Performing Artists, each saved 250,000 shillings, but they received 5 million shillings, more than 20 times the savings that they had made. On page 5, in regard to the circles and the groups registered, the 36 circles in the district reported were found to be registered with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Comparatives under the 18 categories. We also found hundreds of associations registered under the different circles. For example, Molata had 411 associations, Lira City 594 associations, Doholo District 495 associations. In Kole district, we noted some observation that whereas the Kole North Women Entrepreneurs Circle is a women's circle, it was being led by a man, Ewanokelo Alex Jimmy, as the chairperson. We also found several other women entrepreneur circles, associations, which were led by men, namely Aliru Women Joint Entrepreneurs, led by Okello Thompson, and Wala Joint Women Entrepreneurs, led by Obaro Boniface and Ogwang Alex. Under accountability measures for the beneficiaries and whether they existed, the beneficiaries were expected to make their savings, loan repayments, memberships, and subscription fees, recoveries, and any charges to the circle-bound accounts. We noticed that each parish was required to contribute, each association in each parish was required to contribute at least 20,000 to the constituency circles. That was as per the guidelines. But we observed that in the different districts, there was varied implementation. And we found that in Amolata district, the associations are being asked to pay registration fees of 40,000 into the district collection account. This was not supposed to be money collected by the district. If there was any, it should have been collected into the circle accounts. But we also noted that the associations had to raise 600,000 shillings, with each member paying 20,000 shillings. And part of this will go into the circle, half of it, the other half will remain, we're told, for purposes of registration. We also had concerns that were being raised by some of the associations that were being denied access to the bank statements to confirm their actual loan and saving amounts, and were even threatened not to question what did not concern them by the circle leaders. This was observed in Kole district. In Aleptom district, we observed also that there are funds that had not been disbursed. So we noticed 2 districts, whereas funds had been received, they had not been disbursed due to various reasons. But we also noticed that there was also a lot of concern that the funds were not sufficient. For example, in Kwania district, Kwania Produce Dealer Circle had 128 groups, each with 30 members totaling to 3,840. And they had 30 million shillings. Doholo district had 75 produce dealers association. Oyam district also had the same challenges. Across the various districts, including Lira, Aleptong, Kwania, and Kole, there was a perception that the funds were to be given as a grant and not as a loan. And they therefore did not expect that they would be repaid. We also noticed that part of the savings that were being made in some of the districts were not part of the funds that were being lent out. For example, Tuhe County, which had about 300 members in their EMYOGA circle for produce dealers, they had 8 million shillings in their account, and that could not form part of what could be lent out. In Amolata district, we noted there were suspicious deposits into the circle accounts, which were not known to the circle leaders. And even in Lira district, we observed there were deposits that were being made under the description border in a women entrepreneur circle, and it was quite difficult to understand the motive behind that. In Lira City, it was reported that the EMYOGA scheme was interfered with and manipulated by opportunists, the well-connected, and some unscrupulous and selfish personalities who diverted the collective benefits of the scheme for personal use. On page 5, now as a result of that, there are also claims of instances of discrimination of some individuals and persuasions and were reported, which discouraged some potential beneficiaries from participating. Most group members of the circles were found to have abandoned, and the top executive also left due to lack of trust and confidence in the leadership of some of these circles. That was in Lira City. In regard to the safeguards to ensure that funds disbursed have been paid back, the one is that one needed to have saved at least a third of the loan, which acted more or less as part security. There was also a short repayment period of 4 months. There were also leaderships in place to run the circle. There was also a loan vetting process, a loans committee, and even they were required to guarantee each other. In Otuke district, we noted that the persons that had borrowed the money were freely paying it, and no cases of default had been reported. In Kole district, most of the Kole South circles were found to have made deposits to repay the amounts borrowed. In Kole North, we found the default rate to be high. And in Lira district, the women entrepreneur circle in the Rooted North had members both from Lira district and Lira city, but all the leaders were coming from Lira city. who dominated the groups, and that became a big challenge, especially when it came to the safeguards. But it was also noted that some of the leaders were handpicked by the implementers of the program, and it was not done through a democratic elective process. In Kole district, for example, the leadership of the SACCOs was selective, and it had one person who identified himself as the coordinator who selected the different leaders. And that is why you note that the Kole women entrepreneurs, the chairperson was a man because of that. On page 8, we also noticed that in Kole North, specifically, majority of their sessions had not paid back their loans. Major reasons cited were the lockdown and the harsh weather, which led to low yields. But it was also noted that there were discrepancies in some of the claimed recoveries. For example, in the district commercial officer's report, it indicated that Opera Parish local leaders had repaid 3 million shillings. But these funds could not be traced in the bank accounts, and the account had only 265,939.48 shillings. We observed also similar discrepancies with, in the Association for People with Disabilities and also Opera Tailoring Association, where 2,313,000 was indicated to have been paid, but it could not be traced. By the time of writing this report, we could not establish whether these funds were paid but not banked by the respective SACCO leaders or paid and embezzled by the leadership. In Kwania district, a number of the EMYOGA projects could not be undertaken because of lack of electricity. For example, the welders and the saloon SACCOs.
Procedure, Madam
Yes,
Speaker.
sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm sorry to interrupt my honorable colleague. Madam Speaker, Uganda is a small country, as Honorable Achon noted, and we have gerrymandered it to create 146 districts. With that bulk of districts, wouldn't it be procedurally right and proper for every presenter to take the format that the Rwenzori sub-region had taken? I mean, it's a very good thing to give us the narrative of district per district regarding the different defects they found. But Madam Speaker, in light of the fact that we have so many districts, 146 in total, every sub-region has to present, wouldn't it be proper that we take a more defined format to save time? Thank you.
What is the format you would suggest?
The format that Rwenzori sub-region started with, he gave us the challenges and the recommendations. He didn't go into every district. He gave a few examples to build up on his point. Like Chegegwa, there was totally no disbursement made. So he structured his reports in a very organized way because he had the challenges and the recommendations to the challenges. So wouldn't it be proper, instead of saying Soroti, Katakwi, Amuria?
Madam Speaker, I'm actually using.
I haven't. Actually, what Honorable Opio is presenting is like what Honorable Alex did, only that there are some exceptions that they have in some districts that must be mentioned, that you cannot leave out unmentioned. So that's what he's doing.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'm on page 9. There are just a few pages, so please be assured that we'll be able to complete on that. On the next item, which was on extortion.
And actually, Honorable Anne, when you listen, the report of Langwe is sad news. So I want you to listen attentively as a shadow on the other side.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On item number 6 was on to do with extortion from the public and collection of illegal fees. We noticed that there were several instances of extortion that was undertaken. For example, in Amolata district, there was 40,000 shillings that was being demanded to be collected. We noticed also certain SACCOs were demanding for certain funds which were not part of what to be collected. I'll give one example. Doholo North Women Entrepreneur SACCO at the start collected the following funds: 5,000 for registration from each assession, 40,000 from each assession for rent, 25,000 from each assession for transport, 5,000 from each individual member assession for loan pickup, 20,000 from each individual member assession for SACCO registration, and 10,000 from each of individual member assession for membership. We also noticed in Kwale district specifically, there were a lot of extortion, and the chairpersons of the various SACCOs indicating having had to give kickbacks ranging from 4 million to 2 million to 1 million to 1.5 million, depending on the different SACCO that was involved. Under the review of the bank statements, and this is the last findings, we made a review of the different statements. We found some of the districts, we found there was no discrepancy and they were tallying. However, we found in some of the districts, their withdrawals versus disbursements were not tallying. We found, for example, on page 11, if you look at Kwale North SACCOs, there was a total 540,671,900 that was withdrawn, but what was received by the beneficiaries was 409,542,000. So 131,129,900 shillings could not be accounted for and was missing on the accounts. On page 12, we also noted discrepancies between the funds withdrawn in the association names and those received by the associations in Kwale North. And we found a total discrepancy that was amounting to 88,540,000 shillings. If you look at one example on page 12, Okwero performing artist, amount withdrawn as per the bank statement is 10 million, but amount received is 2 million. And when you look at the Kwale North Carpenter SACCO on page 13, where Ayala Oya Carpenters, amount withdrawn on the bank statement in their name is 16 million, but the amount that they actually received and what was disbursed was 5 million shillings. Those are the observations that we made, Madam Speaker. I'll now want to go into the recommendations, and we have general and specific recommendations. The first is that these funds should be placed under the responsibilities of the COW, such that there's better accountability. We noticed that it was the RDCs that were playing the monitoring role itself, and many of the COWs indicated that they had no direct role on those funds and therefore could not account for it. Secondly is that the SACCO loan policies on repayment periods need to be revised from the 4 months. We found the 4 months as too short. If you look at Lamu sub-region, which is an agricultural area, 4 months is much shorter than the agricultural seasonal cycle, and therefore they will not be expected to have made any meaningful income to be able to repay. But also we need to look at rescheduling some of the existing loans due to the impact of COVID-19 and the harsh weather in the past rainy season. In addition, the 1/3 saving requirement needs to be revised because it was deemed to be prohibitive and limiting uptake of funds by the different groups. The communication on the EMYOGA program needs to be streamlined to ensure that the information received is clear and implementation is uniform. We saw a lot of variability in implementation. And the savings also need to be considered as part of the amount of loans that had to be given out. Fifthly, the SACCOs also that have not yet received funds from the Microfinance Support Center should have their funds disbursed, including Otuke County Veteran SACCO, who indicated to have received the funds but are not received it. Also, associations should be encouraged to open bank accounts to receive funds from the SACCOs. We noticed that the accounts are with the SACCOs, withdrawals are made in cash, and then disbursements are made in cash to the associations. We recommend that the associations should also have bank accounts and also possibilities to ensure that funds are paid directly into the individual member's mobile phone to ensure traceability and limit fraud and the various extortions that we observed. But also the banks should provide SMS alerts to the SACCO and association leadership in order to monitor the account transactions. The offices of the RDC and the commercial officer should be facilitated adequately to support the SACCOs and associations. We need to see more of the local leaders, the political and appointees at all administrative units to to be included, to be part of the whole monitoring process. There's also need for a regional pool of funds where the constituency circles can borrow from to be created. We have some circles that were performing well, but they needed more capital and are ready to borrow and have capacity to pay, but we do not have any opportunity for them to be able to tap into that. So there's need to see additional capitalization of this. On the specific recommendations, this is restricted to the different districts where we had challenges. And in general, what we're recommending is reinstating of persons who are the focal person in the district to be the district commercial officers, persons who have been found to have connived with the circle leaders to be investigated for the loss of the circle funds, and those funds that are missing from the accounts should be repaid and refunded within 30 days. But also in Kole North circle accounts, that further withdrawals be halted until the adequate controls, because we found 130 million missing from that. In conclusion, the EMYOGA program is a key intervention in fighting poverty and promoting wealth creation through increasing access to financial services and capital and strengthening collective and sector participation. The preparation, coordination, communication, management, monitoring, accountability, financing frameworks, and processes, however, need to be reviewed and strengthened to fully realize its potential benefits in driving socioeconomic growth in Lango and Uganda as a whole. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Honorable Pio, and thank you for the report. Lango Sub-Region, thank you. Rwenzori, thank you. And all the other sub-regions are going to present. And then we need a very comprehensive report from the Minister of Microfinance. And you'll also have to give us a hint how you chose Microfinance Support Center to micromanage this product when you're making your responses, because what I know is the money is not disbursed from the district. It is sent direct from Microfinance Support Center. And then what was the reason why you made the commercial officer to be the one to determine who should get? It's a one-person decision. The eligibility of the persons to get the money is determined. It is upon the certificate that is sent by my commercial officer. That is where corruption now comes in. And when you look at the narration of the transfer, it is a salary advance in the narration that is being sent to the accounts. And then the people who have not also gotten the money, I have gotten some petitions that the monies were put on a fixed deposit by Microfinance Support Center. We'll also want to know who benefits from the income, from the interest that is got from that money that is being fixed, yet it's supposed to be sent to the constituencies or to the circles. We need all that information, but the submission of the reports will continue on Tuesday, and then we have a debate on EMYOGA. I want to thank you, members, for being that patient. After the presentation of the reports, the alternative Minister of Microfinance on opposition will also make a presentation on alternative policies on microfinance. And that will be done on Tuesday. I want to thank you members so much. And thank you for being patient. And therefore, adjourn the House to Tuesday, 7th September. Thank you.